Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
If you're extra tired this morning, blame it on Naylor. They kept us up late last night, but it was worth every last second of it. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, Day 2. I'm Jay Crawford. Later in the show, we're going to debate whether Tom Brady will be any good at all as a television analyst for Fox. G?
I'm G. Bush. I'm going to tell you coming up later in the show why no one seems to wear clothing while they're lifting weights nowadays. Fascinating.
I'm Mike Polk Jr., thrilled to be here for my first day. And I am later going to talk about what the Cavs did right this season when we hand out our Cavaliers season awards.
And I'm Adam the Bull, and I'm going to tell you why Nick Chubb was already my favorite football player, and now he's moved even higher list. Can you move up from number one?
Wow.
I don't know that that's really possible.
You could be one,
but I
with
love
an
him
asterisk.
even more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
Love
could be
him.
greatest of all time.
Yes.
I don't think he's in that
No,
category
not there yet, but-
yeah, what he did in this video that we're going to show you is incredible. You've probably already seen it by now, but we're going to debate it. All right, last night, your Guardians really came back from the dead. They were down 8-2, guys, in the 9th inning. I'm a diehard, but I'm not that much of a diehard. I thought for sure this one was over. Josh Naylor hits a game-tying home run in the 9th to get it into extra innings. The Guardians score in the top of the 10th. The Sox score in the bottom of the 10th. And then this happened in the top of the 11th. Roll it.
The set, the pitch. Swung on and blasted into deep right field. This ball gone! How about that? Naylor with 8 RBIs in his last 3 at-bats.
I'm talking about. And then the helmet throw is the best,
Yeah.
in my view. The helmet throw is the best. I think that was him finally get rid of all the frustration of, remember last year, the terrible ankle break that he had? It looked like, some said his career was over. It was ugly. It was like the Joe Theismann type, where the bones are going all different ways and the ankle's pointing in the wrong direction. Guys, for me, that was easily the signature win of this Guardians team, which is now over 500, which is great, because there was a time about 2 weeks ago when they were just reeling off loss after loss. They looked dead in the water. What do we make of this club, guys? They were down 6 in the 9th and came back to win. That's one of the most exciting wins in Guardians/Indians history in the last couple of years. It's thrilling.
Remember what I said yesterday? I said we're going to find out how good they are and how interested we're going to be when we go against the White Sox. And my coach used to always say, have a day. Naylor had a day and a half. Man, this guy, 2 home runs, and if you went to sleep early, some people I know went to sleep a little early.
Tried to. Yeah.
You missed a heck of a game. And for Fringe fans like me, this is what gets me rolling. This is the kind of stuff I can lean on. This is the type of stuff that I can go and watch and take my wife to the game because of this type of offense. And Bull, I told you, pitching wins, but hitting is sure fun.
It's been amazing, guys. You think about this team and what we thought about them coming into the season, right? We thought they would, if they had any chance of competing, it would be all about the starting pitching.
Right.
But it's been anything but. I mean, the starting pitching has been disappointing. Zach Plesac has not pitched well and didn't pitch well yesterday. Aaron Savali's been awful. Even Shane Bieber's been kind of mediocre, which for him, you expect him to be great. McKenzie's been really good, but he's the only one that's been better than you would have expected. The lineup's been fantastic. They lead the American League in runs per game.
That's mind-blowing.
That's insane.
Right? And they're second in all of baseball behind only the $270 million roster of the LA Dodgers. And they're barely. I think the Dodgers are averaging 5 runs a game, and the Guardians are like 4.9, something like that. It is remarkable. They're doing it with young players. You know, often we talk about hitting coaches when they stink and they get fired.
Yeah.
But Chris Valaika, a former big league journeyman, has in his first year as the Guardians hitting coach, and it appears he's made a difference. They're great plate discipline, a lot of contact at the plate. They're not striking out. It's made a difference.
I was up watching this, and it was Naylor was on fire for whatever reason. I want to thank the White Sox fans because you could tell they were talking smack to him.
Yeah, they
because
were.
he yelled
The
right
few
at
that
them.
were there.
Yeah, exactly. All 7 of them. But he was yelling at them when he rounded the bases. He gave them the be quiet on the grand slam. And then on the 3-run, he did the same thing and blew up both times in that dugout, which was fun to watch. And I don't know if we can count on grand slams like that and stuff carrying us through the rest of the season and Naylor staying furious that long. Is that smart?
I don't think we can't rely on that kind of stuff every night. But guys, let's just put into a vacuum what he did last night. Just the thumbnail of it. He hit a game-tying grand slam home run. That's the biggest thing you can do as a hitter. He hit a game-tying grand slam home run in the final inning of regulation to get it to extra innings. From the 8th inning on, he had 8 RBI. Never been done.
Right.
Never.
Also never been done, a guy hitting a grand slam home run and a 3-run home run in the 8th inning or later. Guys, we've played hundreds of thousands of baseball games, more than 1 million baseball games in all likelihood. And this guy last night does something that has never been done. Now, the number there is 1920 because, honestly, Elias's records after that, they've disintegrated and turned to dust.
Right.
They can't read the box score from the New York Times going back to 1919. But it's incredible. And we expect that the driving force of this team will be Jose Ramirez, and he will be. But when you look at the lineup, the kids, guys like Miller and Naylor. Naylor's 25 years old. Yeah. And Quan. This team is exciting to watch. And to your point, G, there are a lot of Fringe fans. Let's face it. I think the Guardians/Indians franchise is kind of in a tough spot right now because a lot of fans are so upset with the name change. They're like, I'm done. They won't be done if they put a 15-game winning streak together in August and they're in first place. They'll come flooding back into Progressive Field.
Especially when they want to keep scoring runs like this.
Yeah.
Pitching is a science, it's an art. It's something that, you have to really dial in, especially when you're knowing, hey, is that a slider? Is that a curveball, fastball, changeup? How many pitches a guy has, the velocity, all that good stuff. But one thing that translates very well is I know what a 3-run home run is. I know what a grand slam is.
Yeah.
And I know I can get excited about grand slams and 3-run home runs. We'll see if we can continue up that type of production. But at least for now, going against a White Sox team that everyone talked about being the team that's going to be in the AL Central heads and shoulder above the rest.
And let's face it, in recent years, the young Guardians hitters have all been disappointments. And to this point, coming into this season, Josh Naylor has mostly been a disappointment. He was a high draft pick. He was part of the big trade a few years ago with the Padres. And he's been disappointing, except for the playoffs. Remember the last time the Guardians, at the time, Indians were in the playoffs? I
don't know that all of them. I love Franmil Reyes. I know he's gripping now.
But I meant more the guys that came up through the organization. But Naylor kind of did not really either.
No,
but a lot of their young guys have been disappointing. Even Owen Miller last year, his first opportunity, didn't do much. But now they're really starting, it seems, and again, it's too early to know for sure, but it seems like they're developing as a group together. And this is a big year for Naylor because he's had, 700 plate appearances already.
Sure.
And his numbers are very unimpressive overall, but he's off to a good start. Obviously, yesterday, blew those numbers up. But between the injury that you mentioned earlier and his struggles in the past, it's a big season for him. And you saw the emotion there. I hope he didn't break anybody's wrist doing the high fives.
Yeah.
But you feed off that kind of energy.
It is exciting and it's contagious. And, we mentioned it right now, it's all about the hitting. Guys, if and we know the pitching's going to come around. It typically does. I think you made a comment about Plesac, and he hasn't pitched well overall.
Yeah.
Last night, I thought he had his best stuff of the year, and he made 2 bad pitches the whole night. In the first inning, after the Guardians score first, he kind of messes around and loads the bases. It was nothing that, he wasn't terrible in that inning. Then he throws the wild pitch. Mm-hmm. That makes it a 1-1 tie, and then he grooves a little slide piece it looked like it was set up on a tee, and now it's a 3-run homer. After that, he settled in, and he barely gave up a hit the rest of the way. I think it's a focus thing with this guy.
I think you're right. But since that suspension, not suspension, when he got sent to the minors.
COVID deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since that, he's been very inconsistent, and it showed again, even last night within the game. He looked out of sorts in the first inning.
In that first inning, he did.
Right, and then you're right. He did pitch well after that. But you need more consistency from him, and that just hasn't been there for going on a year.
To your point on the hitting coach, too, I know a lot of people that are just average baseball fans look at it and say, No, that's just a guy that fills the uniform.
Right.
Here's the impact that we've seen on this team already. And this is the hitting philosophy varies from coach to coach. But the one thing that I think has become this team's trademark is they are very patient at the plate.
Yeah.
Quan doesn't swing at balls. And for a young guy who's trying to make his way, it's now pitchers after the first 2 weeks are starting to throw fringe pitches at him to see what they can get him to chase and what he'll spit on. But he shows amazing plate discipline. And I think that is a product of the organization and their philosophy. Get the pitch count up. Don't give up when you're 0-2. We've seen Quan go 0-2 a bunch of times this year, and the next thing you know, it's a full count, and he's falling off pitch after pitch. Even if he makes an out in that at-bat, that's a quality at-bat because you drew 8 pitches out of the pitcher.
Right.
And if he's got 100 to budget, that's almost 10% of his entire effort on one at-bat.
Yeah.
Even if the guy makes an out, you'll take that every time. So I think the hitters are all more disciplined. They're patient. And it's amazing how this is why Tito's the best in the game. You can give him whatever your mold, whatever your ball of clay is, you can give it to him, and he is going to shake.
Yeah.
That's stunning, guys. Look at the payroll.
Yeah.
They've got the second lowest payroll, I think, in baseball.
Yes.
Here's what's
and here they
horrifying,
are.
though. Here's what would be interesting. Do you think in 2 months we'll look at that graphic and we'll laugh, or do you think that we'll just be like, can we believe
We'll
we're
laugh.
still doing
It'll be
We'll laugh.
This is a long
Yeah, and that's a
season.
small
Well,
sample size, but it's still impressive that they're
It's
there.
great.
They could
It's
easily
shocking.
be 14th in
That's
the American
true.
League right
And
now.
what's interesting, though, and the reason I have some hope, and obviously it'll come down a little bit. They're not going to end the season very likely as the number one team in the American
won't.
League in runs scored.
Yeah.
However, a lot of the guys that are, you want to say, overperforming are young players. And maybe this is the level they're capable of. We'll see as time goes by.
Well, Rosario hasn't started to hit yet.
Nope.
They mentioned last night in the game telecast that he did the same thing last year. He was below 200 when he finally caught fire.
Yeah.
And then we know what happened the rest of the season for Rosario. Here's their Achilles heel, and we've seen it. It's defense. You've got Naylor. So Naylor's the guy you want in the lineup. So, his body isn't really
Ideal.
It's
Yeah.
not ideal.
Very Puckett-esque.
Right, so it is. And so you see a guy like that, you're like, okay, where do you hide him? Well, hide him at first base. The game we went to last Wednesday, he drops a ball right in his
Easy
glove.
play, routine
that guy
play.
comes around to score. Last night, the first run that scored in the game was on a ball that Naylor dropped on an easy out at first base. You can't have that happen.
Think about if this team had like an Anthony Rizzo playing first base.
Well, yeah, I
Like
mean,
that, they signed him. He didn't sign for a ton of money.
No,
this
but it was
offseason.
more than the
But
Guardians were going to spend.
Not necessarily him specifically, but that type of player, like a middle of the lineup hitter.
Yeah.
Great defensive player, can hit for power.
Be ideal.
One other thing, though, Jay, I want to go back to something you said about the hitting coach and the Guardians' ability to put the ball in play. We talked during our practice runs last week about how Franmil Reyes was in a terrible slump, right?
It was, yeah.
Okay, he's gotten hot. It's interesting. I don't know who's paid attention to this in terms of the fans. To get out of this slump, his first 8 hits out of the slump were all singles. So even your one pure slugger on this team started trying to go opposite field, cut down a swing a little
that's the key
bit.
right there.
Right?
Going with the pitch.
Getting base
Take
hits.
it the other way.
And then you come out of your funk, and now you go start hitting for power again, which he'll do. But he saw what the other guys were doing, the advice they were getting, and the way they were hitting, and he used that even in his game, which is different than most of the other players.
Right.
And Bull, you said one thing. When I used to be in high school and I'm playing, this is eons ago. Well, one thing that my dad and a lot of my coaches said, hey, look, man, all it takes is a little infield hit you beat out. Maybe you get a bloop single. Maybe you hit one and it dribbles down the third base line, you beat it out. Those things give you that confidence to now where you're like, okay, I'm seeing a picture, I'm seeing pitches. And it encourages you to be a little more patient at the plate, especially when you're not seeing the pitches that you really want to drive and hit. So it's kind of hard. I'm just glad that he's actually doing that now.
Not everything has to be a home run. Sometimes being a home run hitter is a curse because he's going up to the plate with that all or nothing mentality. And I think what we've seen, and it's a great point by you, I think what we've seen is the team philosophically is like, look, a single can snap a slump. Like you said, it could be an infield. It doesn't matter.
They've bought in together.
They have, and you can watch. Each player now has a mindset when he comes to home plate, where a lot of teams, you got 9 different individual game plans. Everybody's going up there looking for their pitch or with their own idea. I think what we're seeing with the Guardians is there is a clear-cut style. There is a philosophy that they're all carrying to the plate, and go the other way. It's hard sometimes to get any hitter to try to do anything but pull the ball, particularly guys that are strong, quick wrists, and they get around on it. They think they have to pull everything. Well, if the pitchers are throwing everything on the outer half, just sit back and punch it the other way. And once that comes, then the ball gets bigger and bigger, and before long it looks like a beach ball. Wait till the pitching comes around. And it will.
It will.
And Tito's teams historically start slow. Usually at June 1st, they're hovering around 500. Well, if they can get even a couple of games above 500 by June 1st, that's when Tito figures out what he has and what he's going to do for the last 3 months of the season. So I'm very confident that this team's going to compete for a playoff spot for one of the wild cards. I don't think they're going to win the division, but I do think they can play meaningful baseball in September. Yeah, and that's all we want.
One guy we haven't really mentioned, and I'll be honest, when they first got him, Miles Straw, I was like, he's more of a fourth outfielder. I didn't really think of him as a starter on a good team.
Yeah.
He's really impressed me since he's been here.
Speed.
He's got speed. He, unlike a lot of the guys on this team, is very good in the field. He's an energetic leader as well, and he's another guy that gets on base. And it's a great sign, guys, for the Guardians that we've talked about them for, 10, 15 minutes here? Yeah. We haven't even really mentioned Jose Ramirez.
Yeah.
Nope. Right?
That's the point.
That. Yeah.
That's how, he's definitely going to be the epicenter of this wheel.
No doubt.
And the other thing I hate is Rosario in left field. It's just such a bad look.
Yeah.
It's so bad. He's a shortstop.
Brutal. Yeah.
And, Tito's got to make some tough decisions. If you've got some of these young kids that are hitting, you don't want to take them out of the lineup.
Right.
And a guy like Rosario, if you had to put one of them in left field, I think he's the guy that you would want to do that with. But ideally, he's not. We've got too many guys out of position on the defensive side, and that's going to be the big Achilles heel for this team moving forward.
They may trade a middle infielder for an outfielder or corner infielder at some point. Yeah.
We think there's going to be trades
in
July. I hope we're a buyer and not a seller.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes,
Yeah. So Mike, I'm an eternal optimist.
I know.
That's Family
Bless
Dollar
your heart.
budget.
You know what I love, though? And this is, I think, the best thing about the Jose Ramirez trade, new contract. We never have to hold our breath on July 31st as to whether or not they're going to dump this guy.
Yes.
The no-trade thing, I love it. And also, it tells us that LeBron's not the only athlete to raise his hand, superstar athlete to raise his hand and say, hey, I want to play in Cleveland.
Right.
It's a nice thing to see. Quickly before we leave baseball, because we got to get to this Nick Chubb video. It's ridiculous. Quickly around the horn deal on the ghost runner rule. It was supposed to go away. That's in extra innings. Each team starts with the man on second base. It was an experiment to speed up games. It worked, but the general consensus is they were going to ditch it. They had voted to ditch it, but then because they had the shortened spring training, they said, we got to do everything we can to limit the innings on these guys because there's no spring training. So it's back for at least for this year. It's probably going to go away at the end of this year. Do you like that with the guy starting on second base to start the 10th inning?
Love it.
Wow.
Major League Baseball, if you could do little small things like this to introduce the game and to make it interesting for fringe fans, do it. I think it's a good look. They should do more things like that and be non-traditional.
You like it, Mike?
Totally agree. Love it. Forgot about it. It was so late last night, and I had to rewind. I'm like, how did he get on second? Because I had forgotten
because the big news was it was going away this year.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when they decided that they were going to bring it back, it made no splash at all in the news.
I totally agree, and I also like that it makes the old head baseball fans upset because, exactly. I love it. Who are just like, no, they should.
You like it though.
Well, I'm a grandfather.
The ball should still be made out of horsehair.
I used to consider myself an old school baseball fan. I've been a baseball fan since the late 70s. And yet, I like a lot of the changes that my first reaction was that I don't like it, right?
Yeah.
When I first heard about this idea, I thought it was the stupidest thing ever. I love it. I hope it never goes away.
Yeah,
it creates more excitement.
Mike, I am more open to the idea because I am that guy. Yes. I am the old seam head. I love tradition. I hated the wild card when it first came in. I love it now.
The people who are complaining about it are the same people who complain when they put that home run bar out in the center field at the Guardians
No, I've always
games.
loved that.
But but remember, there was a lot of pushback against that because it was ruining the sanctity of the game and everything. And all the dudes who are still keeping score in the bleachers are just like, you shut up over there. We're trying to have fun and quiet.
Have you ever been that guy? Have you ever kept score at a Major League Baseball game?
I would have no idea.
Have you worn a glove to a game?
Yeah, when I was a kid, but not anymore. Now I'm just like, what am I going to do with a foul ball from somebody I've never heard of?
I have a hard, fast rule. If you're over 18 years of old 18 years of age, you're not allowed to wear another grown man's jersey to a game.
Why not?
And ditch the baseball glove. Like, be a
baseball
man.
glove's
You can
lame,
catch a
yeah.
ball with your bare hands.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Just too much to
But
handle.
don't you feel funny wearing a jersey with a grown man's name on the back?
Listen, I pay taxes. I pay a lot of money in taxes.
You
I
can do whatever you want.
But I'm a grown man. I can't have another grown man while my son is looking at me.
Right.
He's looking at me.
Yeah.
and my
You're
face.
advertising for another guy.
And
on your
he's
back.
like, Daddy, what's going on? You cheering
have
all
a
hard?
kid?
No, I ain't got one yet. But listen, he will look at you like that if I have Myles Garrett's jersey on. He's my
So
name.
you won't wear a jersey?
No.
Yeah, I wear them as fashion statements, but I don't wear them to games.
No.
I don't
Plus,
either.
I don't want anybody to confuse me for Myles Garrett. A lot of
You guys
times when
look
I wear
similar.
my Myles
Sure.
Garrett
Yeah.
jersey, people are like, Miles.
Yeah.
And then I have to say, no. Yeah, I can
Come on, I
understand.
see that.
Can understand how you would do that. but
Throwbacks
no.
count. Throwbacks don't count. You could do a Jim Brown.
That's fashion, though.
You could
that's
do a
fashion.
Jim Brown. You could do a Bernie.
I'm good with that.
Throwback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pay respect. All right, throw to this video clip of Nick Chubb. He's kind of strong. I've never seen anything like this. Guys, watch the bar. When I first saw this, I'm like, wow, can the bar even support that much weight? That's 7 plates on each side. 695-pound squat,
Easy money.
all the way down. I believe they call that ass to grass, right?
Yep.
Guys, look at the bar. Look at it bouncing like that.
Below parallel.
When you
It's
the
first
most
saw
you
that,
ever
Mike
did,
Polk,
G.
I love the dude back there who's acting like he's helping, or like he might spot him if something goes wrong. He's like, "I got this if anything goes south."
If that weight fall on him, he's dead.
Absolutely, but he knew this is going to go viral, so
Yeah.
he's like, "This is my chance."
I
Screams
got
out
you,
his Twitter
dog.
handle.
I got you.
that's 3 times his body weight.
Yeah, no, I don't ever do that again. That's foolish. You've had an injury history. It's the off season. We're dependent upon you. Please, we know how strong you are. I think just doing maybe 500 twice would probably do you more good than that. I'd think just from a health perspective, I'm not a weight trainer, but please stop doing that.
It does seem that there could be major risks associated with that.
I have no
is.
fears, guys. Gee, what's the most you've ever done?
Look, I've done nowhere near over 600 pounds. The most I've ever done is like 585.
Soft.
And this is a running
you
back.
saying that as if that's not a lot.
I know,
That's
exactly.
light.
You're trying to like
my brother
I mean, come on.
my brother, he's my younger brother who played football with me at Ohio University.
Yeah.
All the linemen squat over 6. I was like, I can't be out here just squatting all this much weight, bro.
Does that concern you though, that he's doing that or no?
He's a running back, guys. That's what I mean. Okay, I expect some defensive linemen and offensive linemen to be able to push 6, but he's almost at 700. He runs the ball.
Yeah.
Sometimes the first player he makes contact with on the other side is 190 pounds.
Right.
Guys, he is the hardest, and this includes Derrick Henry. I think he's the hardest player to tackle in the NFL. I know Henry's a little bigger than him.
Yeah.
He breaks tackles better than anybody.
Yeah.
It's amazing with the overall poor quarterback play that he's played with outside of the second half of the 2020 season, how good he's been. And this guy is the superstar that you want. He's all about ball. It's never me. You know, and whatever. You want to be me. I don't mind a touchdown celebration or any of that.
Mm-hmm.
He never does any of that stuff.
Mike, can we talk about the guy that was spotting him again? Can we go back?
Let's see that video
He had
again,
a
Mike.
bad. He had a bad build. His
It
build
was not a
bad.
strong build. You're right.
His build
Nope.
was
He had
kind of
no
mediocre. This is a JV high school type. Who is that guy?
Oh, he's soft.
That's
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I also don't like. He's at a high school like somewhere doing this too, which
Yeah,
is not.
yeah.
Look at that. Which is not the safest place if something did go wrong. Like I want to know how far away the life flight helicopter is if something goes south. I am just horrified to see one of our best 3 players out there doing that.
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see for a prank. I would love to see him walk into your local Planet Fitness, load up 14 plates
In
on
a wig.
one bar.
In a wig.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, right.
People can't know that you're Nick Chubb, and have him mic'd, and there's video cameras hidden all over, and have him walking around just getting like 2 or 3 guys. Hey, I'm going to get ready to do a little bit of weight over here. Can I get some spots? So he walks around and he gets like 2
Bros taking out their
medium-sized
headphones.
women and then the
They're
muscle head in the
panicking.
gym.
Yeah.
And just to see their reactions when he walks up to a bar with nearly 700 pounds on it
Right.
to squat it. I think that would be.
They kick him right out of Planet Fitness. This is a no judgment free zone.
Kick him right out of curves.
Don't you be putting that weight on there like that.
That's great. How much
Joe
do you weigh? How
Thomas
much do you weigh?
commented on it, though, guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he
did.
did.
We got the Joe Thomas
Yeah.
tweet. Why is everyone naked?
Great question.
Show the video again. I didn't
Yes.
even notice that the first time I saw it, but once you see the Thomas tweet, you're like, wait, I have to look at this again. Take a look around the gym.
Right. It's a really easy breezy.
There's a lot of no shirts, no service in there.
Hey, man.
Yep.
Look,
We talked about no shirt, no shoes. We debated that last week in our practice.
Yeah.
And I said fat guys should not walk around with no shirt, and that guy,
And the only one with a shirt on is the guy lifting 800 pounds.
Right.
Like, he's the only humble one out there.
if he's wearing a shirt, everybody else should be.
I would have 2 shirts on if Nick Chubb were.
G. Bush, what are you tipping the scales at these days?
hey, man, I'm well over 3. I might be like 310.
I'm going to put you down at 300.
Yeah.
I'm 195. Polk, where are
About
you
2
at?
bills.
You're not
200?
200 pounds.
Yeah, I'm
No.
long, you guys.
He do
All
got a lot
right,
of-
look, you know what? I'll put
I'm
you
not
down for
lying.
200.
Why am I bragging about
Okay,
weight?
so listen, I did not know what that was going to be. I started thinking, how much would that
You
be?
just started guessing our weight
So,
like a Cedar Point weight
G.
guesser?
Bush, yeah.
All
G.
right.
Bush, you're 300.
Plus.
I'm 195. Polk's 200. When you add those up, guys, guess how much it is?
A Nick Chubb squat.
695 what?
695 pounds.
Wow.
Nick Chubb could squat the 3 of us.
In fairness,
At
I think it
once.
was only 675.
I know it
so
said
I'm pretty
675
sure.
on the bar, but somewhere I read that it was 695.
All right.
But
I'll buy that.
on the video
I'll take
tweet,
yours.
look, 675, 695. He could
That's
squat
insane.
the 3. He could squat 3/4 of this panel.
That's insane.
That is nuts.
Yeah. Please don't do that.
We're going to do, we love lists here at the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We're going to do a top 5 list on a daily basis. And to do it is producer Mike. Right now, that's what we're calling him, but we're looking for a nickname for producer Mike. So if anybody wants to send us
In the
ideas,
comment section, let's go ahead and do that. Can we get the comments?
yes,
Just
throw
put
it in the comments of
yeah.
what you think we should call producer
He's
Mike.
from
By the way,
Texas, if that helps. If that
a
helps,
little bit
he's
of
from Texas.
background. He was a pretty good college basketball player, and on senior night, he got a rare start, and I think he hit 17 three-pointers. Was it 17 threes before halftime?
17 threes.
Yeah,
Mike-
Urban Legend says 17. I think it was actually 16, but I'm not going to take one away. And just for the people out there, Chicken Finger Mike was what y'all called me in the chat. Yes, the chat
That's
has
a
to be
good
better than
nickname.
that. You guys have to be better
That's
than
be-
that.
yeah,
Came
we
up
can do
with
better.
chicken finger
I
Mike?
like chicken fingers.
That's a lot.
You know what? We'll sit on it for about
Gotta
a week,
workshop it.
I
and
think
then we'll vote on Friday.
Yeah,
or
we need like
something.
5 to pick from people.
Yeah.
And then we'll list the 5 and then we'll
Well,
pick one.
I'm anxious to see what you think we should call him because Mike is an observationist.
I'm a nickname master.
He is a nickname master. I would tell you what he calls me, but it's not
Nope.
not clean even
Not
for this
PC.
for this show. So, Mike, we're going to do top 5 running backs off of that Nick Chubb video. So this is producer Mike will give us his list, and then we'll sort of weigh in on it as you go by. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, and we're also a podcast. So, by the way, if you're not watching live, we'll have a podcast version later. And please comment in the chat. We'll be watching, and
We're paying attention
insert
to all your
guys'
comments.
comments in. We're paying
Can
attention.
we
Let's get to the list.
can we get producer Mike a better backdrop so it doesn't look like we're
It's
visiting?
coming. It'll be
It looks
here
like we're
tomorrow.
visiting him in prison right now.
I said the same
Did
thing
you?
yesterday.
Does it?
It looks like he's coming live to us from a high school dugout.
Yeah.
Hey, the new background's coming up.
That's
Check this
better.
out.
Or a
Hold on.
Division
This
III
is
college.
Steve.
Or
So
a
we got
Division
Anthony
III
back
college
here
dorm
producing
room.
the YouTube comments. So
And that's
it's
my
coming.
cup.
It's coming.
All right,
folks.
well, it's got to look clean back there. I mean, it's got to look better than that. All right, what's your top 5?
All right, we're starting with number 5. Austin Eckler, the Chargers, 911 rushing yards, 12
Underrated.
touchdowns, almost 700 receiving yards, 8 touchdowns. He played all 16 games. Versatile, can do it all.
Yeah, I love him.
Very
I like the
underrated.
versatility of him.
Very underrated guy.
Yeah.
A lot of people shake their head. He's been one of the most consistent backs in the league the last few years.
That's
Yeah,
the
he-
look of a man who also had him fall off on his fantasy team this year.
Yeah.
That's what he did for me. I'm just
no,
like,
that-
Eckler!
Cost me the championship. No, go ahead.
All right, who's number 4?
Number 4, Dalvin Cook, Minnesota Vikings. He's
Okay.
a little hurt, but when he's healthy, as good as anyone in the league. Just look at his game against the Steelers last year. 206 yards, 2 touchdowns. When he's on, he's unstoppable.
And you know what? He played a couple of games where he had legitimate injuries last year and can still be a workhorse. That's what I like about him. I want a guy
Yeah.
that can work through injury and play through injury. He's super tough.
There's not many bell cow backs these days. Guys that are just
No.
taking every carry. He's one of the few.
I think that's because the league sort of a couple of years ago decided they were going to do running back by committee.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I hate the most about the Browns, by the way. One series you'll see Chubb, the next series you'll see Hunt, Chubb, Hunt, Chubb, Hunt. Why they don't use them together is beyond me. That's another topic. What's number 3?
You led me right there. Nick Chubb, number 3, 1,250 rushing yards last year, 12
Okay.
touchdowns, 5.5 yards per carry. And how about this for a stat? A 31% missed tackle rate, according to Pro Football Focus.
Where does that
was
rank?
best
Do you
in the
know?
league.
It is best in the league. I was
Yeah,
going to
no
say.
doubt.
Yeah, to
No
your
doubt.
point of him being the hardest guy to tackle.
The only flaw in Nick Chubb's game is he's not a great pass catcher. They don't use him that much.
Yeah, I don't know that he's not a great. I think it's they don't use him.
He can catch the rock a little bit. I just think they use Kareem Hunt more in that area.
Yeah,
but he's not the Eckler and Cook and some of these other guys, McCaffrey when he's healthy. Those guys are elite pass catchers.
Sure.
That's not Nick Chubb's strength.
No, but I think in another system he could be adequate.
He could be more. He definitely could do more.
All right, your last two.
Number 2, Derrick Henry. It's the durability that knocks him off from number 1. He did have 937 yards, 10 rushing touchdowns last year, but he only played in 9 games. Missed half the season. Can't be number 1 if you miss half the season.
Yeah,
but he never missed any time before last year.
No, he's my number 1. Yeah. I'll tell you that right now. And I know that you can look at his card last year and say, wait, you got to be able before you can tap into availability, that whole thing. But I just think that he changed lives for the Titans in the playoffs 2 years ago. They were beating teams they shouldn't have beaten,
right?
Because they just gave the ball to him and said, "Take us to the finish line."
Derrick Henry has been elite for the last 3 years. If you look at what his production was before he got hurt, he was
best in the league.
I think he is the most impactful
1,900 yards.
And who's your top running back in the league?
Jonathan Taylor, NFL's rushing leader last year, 1,800 rushing yards. That was 600 more than Nick Chubb, who was second in the league. He also had 4 touchdowns. And this is with Carson Wentz as his quarterback. They were putting 8-9 guys in the box every time. Yeah. He played all 17 games. To me, it's an easy choice.
Did you say he won the rushing title by 600 yards?
Nick Chubb was second in the league with 1,200 yards.
I didn't realize it was that big of a disparity.
Oh, yeah.
He played all 17 games. He had 1,811 rushing yards. That's 600 more than Nick Chubb at number 2.
Hard to argue.
Overall, the Austin Eckler pick for me.
Who's missing from the list? Who are you putting in?
Aaron Jones is better than Austin.
No way.
Aaron Jones is better than Austin Eckler.
Eckler's so diverse, man. You can get him the ball in so many ways.
Aaron Jones catches the rock too. Aaron Jones has more breakaway speed. Aaron Jones is nice. You could have put Alvin Kamara in there. He had a down year a little bit as well.
I think Joe Mixon can make the back end of that list as well.
Yeah, he's pushing into that top 5.
But I got to have Derrick Henry number 1. I know he missed. Jonathan Taylor for the full season last year was the best, but I'm not going to make my top 5 list based only on last year. I need a body of work.
I do too. That's why I wouldn't have Taylor number 1.
That should be specified.
Henry
Taylor
is this the whole body of work or just based on past years?
And we didn't really say whether this was just based off last year. I think the way I look at it is if there were to be a draft tomorrow of running backs. Who are you taking?
Well, then Mike's right, because Taylor would go 1 because he's younger, less wear and tear.
Well, but I see. This is going to sound like I'm a homer.
Yeah,
I am. Chubb.
I am. But I'm taking Chubb number 1. I think the only person that can stop Nick Chubb is Kevin Stefanski.
He doesn't get a lot of touches.
Or if he tries to squat 720, that could stop him too.
Please don't try that.
Please don't do that.
Please. I think the bar snaps. At what point does the bar snap?
Well, I don't want to find out. I don't want to find out.
When it's bowing like that.
You're very strong. Please stop doing that.
Can you imagine what that would look and sound like if the bar ever did snap?
I don't want to think about that.
Can you imagine
Nick
that?
Chubb be in big trouble.
To powerlifters, that's light.
Yeah, but they use a special reinforced bar too.
He's an NFL running back though. That's different.
I don't want my.
I don't care if a power lifter gets hurt from Russia.
And he tore ACL, and he still does that.
Yes.
You know what's funny, guys? Before we wrap this up, things change in a hurry, right? A couple of years ago, Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley might have been 1-2, and now you don't even think about them because they've been hurt so much the last few years.
And that's why the league, by the way, has gone to running back by committee. If you look at the load that McCaffrey was carrying.
Yeah.
I mean, I had him that year in fantasy, so I'm like, ride him. But if you're a general manager, you have to think longevity. And at a position that shelf life for running back in the NFL is about 5 years. It's actually less than 5 years for the average running back. You can't run a guy, and I know that, maybe that's what Stefanski is doing with Chubb. It's not, it's not that we have him for a minute, it's how long we have him. But when the biggest play of the game is going on and you've got Nick Chubb on the sideline in a raincoat, and the other even if you're not going to give him the ball, put him out there as a decoy.
I agree. I think if you look at Nick Chubb's touches per game, it's a fine number. I don't think it's way too low, but there are key moments in the game where he's my best back. I've got to have him
I want to
there.
see him touch the ball 10 times in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean,
even if his total number is 25 and you give him 15 in the first 3, he needs to be your workhorse when the game is in the balance. And for some reason, too many times last year, I'm asking my television, why is Nick Chubb in a raincoat
Right. And look at his numbers in the fourth quarter. They're ridiculous.
He gets stronger as the game
absurd.
goes on.
Really quickly, I think we're going to have a great conversation moving forward as training camp comes up.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns have the most loaded backfield in the game. The new kid from
no
Cincinnati, when you look at
D'Ernest Johnson, I think someone's going to be traded. I'm not sure Hunt's going to be here.
D'Ernest Johnson could start
he's a
for
starting
a few teams
back.
in the league.
And that's why I think I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if Hunt was traded.
I've been saying that for a few months.
Yeah, it makes sense because you've got such depth, and you're right. Collectively, I think we have more talent in the backfield than any team in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that includes Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you throw him in that backfield. That brings up a good point. So as we try to figure out what's going to happen in 2022 with the Browns, we heard recently that Watson's about to give two depositions in his civil trials, and then he'll give another deposition in July. So these things are moving forward. What we don't know is what the commissioner is going to do. We don't know if he's going to be suspended. We don't know if he's just going to kind of hold judgment until we get some sort of verdict from the civil trials. We don't know. But let's, just for the sake of this conversation, move forward with the fact that they've got to play some games this year to start the season without Watson, whether that's 2, 4, 6, 8, I don't know. Who is the biggest benefactor of a Cleveland Browns offense moving forward if Chubb isn't on the field? Mike, who do you got?
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
You mean if Watson?
Yeah, Watson, not Chubb. Watson.
Yeah.
If Watson's not on the field, who benefits the most?
Sure,
You're right. It is. The
no,
Steelers.
I'd imagine it would be Nick Chubb in that case because you'd be more reliant on the running game, right? I mean, is that?
I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think
that's what I
there's
would
any
assume.
doubt about
Yeah.
this. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Does
keep
anybody
beating
disagree with that?
No.
I mean,
the entire backfield. I think.
I don't look at it as a benefit, though. I mean.
Well, whose stock is going to rise individually? So if you're looking at this from a fantasy standpoint, I think Chubb's already one of the most valuable players in the fantasy draft. But if you're telling me that Watson isn't going to play, I want Watson maybe 1 or 2, or I want Chubb maybe 1 or 2 in the fantasy draft because your offense is gonna circle around him 100%.
Right, but the defense is going to be a lot more focused on him,
they will.
too.
But to Mike's stat, he's the toughest guy in the league to bring down.
He is.
I think if you look at it from a fantasy perspective, there's viable people in the backfield. If you look at Nick Chubb, I think he's a first-round pick. If you look at Kareem Hunt, you wouldn't do bad by having him as a third-round guy that can get touches.
Nick Chubb's a borderline first-rounder in fantasy because he doesn't catch a lot of passes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
from a fantasy perspective.
But
because of
Kareem
Kareem
Hunt
Hunt,
can
right?
catch
And because of Kareem Hunt.
sure.
And Kareem Hunt catches balls. He catches balls out of the backfield, and he's a goal line threat. So I think the offensive line and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, the backs, they'll just show out during those 4 games.
It kind of does, Mike, turn them into a run team.
Yeah, and I hope that this offensive line is for real. That's my biggest fear right now.
Are you afraid they're not?
I'm a little. I mean, they're just unproven at this point, and I think we're just assuming that it's all going to gel in a way that and that's one of my biggest fears right now.
I think Mike brings up a good point. We know the guards are really good. Bitonio and Teller at this. Bitonio's been a short thing for a while.
Yeah.
Teller's a short thing.
We don't know
Jack
about
Conklin's a really good right tackle, but he's been hurt a lot.
Yeah.
And he's had a lot of serious injuries. The kid at left tackle, he played well, pretty well as a rookie. Last year, he was hurt the whole year, and he was, shaky. And at center, we're either going with, what's his name, Ethan Pocic, who they got from Harris, or Nick Harris, who was a rookie a couple of years ago.
I think they're in on Harris. I think it's all Harris
Probably, but, he's unproven. He hasn't really played center much because Treader – I still don't understand why they let Treader go. I know it's a salary cap thing. But
it was totally salary cap. You're not going to get Deshaun Watson if you don't clear that money off your books.
I find another way than giving up my center. But it's what they must really believe in Harris.
Well, they must believe in Calhoun, or their offensive line coach, because when you look at what they've been able to do, they've developed some guys. For me, Conklin, to me, is the biggest question mark. When you have that series of a knee injury, I don't know if he's going to come back and be that
completely
dominant.
sold on Jedrick?
No. I thought Jedrick Wills was a right tackle. I never thought he was a left tackle. He played right tackle with Alabama.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be fine, guys.
You think he'll
Callahan,
bounce back?
Just to clarify,
Callahan.
Yeah,
So
Bill Callahan is the best line coach in football, and
He's
there's
great.
very few position coaches where you can say that definitively. I think everybody in the league just now recognizes this guy as the guru of offensive line coaching.
One name I'm not hearing a lot, though, is Blake Hance, who played a lot of games last year.
Yeah,
like,
too
we're
much
just
for
assuming.
some fans.
Exactly. When you look at this offensive line that we're all talking about and saying, like, oh, we're good, we're forgetting how many games that people were injured last year. We had Blake Hance and people like that stepping in. Yeah. And that did not end well.
You know what I think, Mike, what it showed last year is your offensive line is only as good as your second-tier guys. Because when you're talking about a position where it's ACL injuries happen so often, they all wear the braces on both legs as preventatives.
That's right.
So it's a position where guys always get hurt. And at some point in the season, I always like to look at the different combinations that teams use at offensive line. The teams that end up ending the season where all 5 guys started all 17 games, and by the way, that almost never happens. But when it does, that team is usually one of the upper tier teams, because I always look at the line not as one position.
Right.
That is more a unit than any other position room on the team.
Yeah.
They work in concert with one another, and they have to be on the same page.
And to your point, Jay, I think if you ask most teams, would you rather have 5 good, solid offensive linemen or 2 or 3 great guys and then 2 guys who are barely startable? You'd rather have 5 good, solid players.
I'll take that.
Than a couple of stars and a couple of.
I'll take that, because you know what? Defenses are going to find wherever
strong as the weakest link.
That's right. And wherever it is, we saw it last year in the Steelers game. We talked yesterday about Baker's conspiracy theory that the Browns sabotaged him. It's too easy with film study now to look at an offensive line and figure out within 5 or 6 plays where you're going to attack. So you start double teaming, you start stunting, you start sending guys on blitzes, and they're all going for the weak link. Give me the 5 really strong guys, no superstars, but also no schleps. I don't want
can't have schleps.
Because if you have
no
one
schleps.
weak link, that should be their motto moving forward.
I think
no schleps.
We're
in
the
this
Browns,
room.
no schleps.
I think what you're going to find out is just how doggone good Deshaun Watson is. Those plays where it's 3rd and 7 and he just twinkle toes outside. And
It's a thing.
gets
It's a thing of beauty.
8-9 yards. And
Hope we get to see it.
Move these chains, and then you get back and run play action.
Yeah.
Those things that was funny.
Just quick.
I hope we get to see
I
it
want to see
too.
it soon.
2024, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Coming to a theater near you.
Can
But
Jacoby
think about this,
Brissett do
G.
that?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Think about this, G. In Houston, he always played behind terrible offense.
Yeah, he did not have a good offensive line
awful.
there, which is in large part why he had to tuck the football and run a lot. If you have a quarterback like that who's standing behind a great offensive line, it just makes your pass game that much better, because now he can stand back there for an extra second.
What if he gets here and he's terrible when he's not in constant fear of his life? Like, what if that's what made him so good?
Yeah, right.
Was his team was so terrible?
Guys, stop blocking so well. I can only play this position when
I don't know
I'm
how to think like
terrified.
this.
So he's Bambi then.
Yep, I barely feel threatened.
Well, then they'll put Blake Hance back in.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. Blake, get in there.
Every guy has a
Strike the
role.
fear of God back into him.
Every guy has a role. We're taking our first break here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. When we come back, we've got 2 fun segments. Up next, Mike Polk is actually going to tell us his Cleveland Cavalier Awards for the 2021-22 season. If you've ever seen Mike's awards specials, they're always funny and they're very entertaining. Also, we're going to do a Judge Jay segment. That's something that you'll become familiar with. I'll basically be the judge on some debate topics, and I'll pick a winner when we're done with them. The one that we're going to do today that I really love is you're the Browns, and you can re-sign one of these guys who was with you last year. Are you taking Jarvis Landry, or are you taking Clowney? Which one are you picking? That and much more when the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show comes right back.
We face challenges every day, some bigger than others, and we never know what's around the corner.
Through the highs and the lows, whatever we face it together. Each morning on Go, we are here with the facts, because what impacts you impacts all of us.
And understanding those facts helps us to make informed decisions for our families, our communities, and our future.
We are here for you every step of the way. Go, weekday mornings, 4:30 to 7 a.m.
What matters most to me is family. Sometimes you don't realize how important it is until you're away from them.
What matters most to Jay? His family. He is a big family man. What matters most to me? My family, my safety, your safety.
I think the thing that most impresses me about Betsy is her versatility. Give her any assignment that involves going in front of a television camera, and she's going to knock it out of the park.
What's new with Betsy and Jay? Weekdays at 5 on 3.
Seeing, knowing, and understanding Northeast Ohio is something we take very seriously.
Because in our connected world, what happens in one community can have an impact on others,
leading to difficult challenges and opportunities for reflection and growth.
So, for in-depth analysis of how today's top stories affect you, your family, and our communities across Northeast Ohio,
join us for 3 News at 6.
So you know what matters most.
Recognize that feeling? It is the feeling of being together, enjoying the company of a familiar face, and sharing moments that matter to you, to me, to us. What matters to some could impact all of us, especially in a place like Northeast Ohio. Here, stories are shared from east to west to south. Stories of perseverance, of family, of love. If a story brings us together, it's what matters most.
All right, we're back on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I want to give this quick reminder. There's so many ways that you can consume the show. The best way, I think, is to just go to our YouTube page. Go to YouTube, search out Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. But there's a lot of other ways. We're on the Channel 3 app, the WKYC 3 News app. So if you want to stream us on the app, you can do it that way. And also, some folks are really into podcasts and they want to listen when they are driving or do whatever. You can get this podcast. It's available wherever you find your podcasts. So
is it
Spotify,
weird that
Apple, whatever.
I'm like helping out on the show and I still don't know exactly where it's going or how it's actually being seen. There's like 40 different ways to ingest it.
Yeah, I know.
And they've tried to explain it to me. They're like, it's also a streaming service that you get on. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
How do I tell my mom to watch?
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
You know?
My mom actually said yesterday that she found the show.
My mom couldn't figure
She's
it out.
82.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't watch it live. I can only see it back on video.
Just call and tell me about it afterwards.
She'll figure it out.
Yeah,
you know what?
she'll get there.
It's the young kids that are doing it.
Yeah.
Let's come back. G. Bush, what are they saying in the chat room? Do we have any nickname suggestions
Yeah,
for
we
Mike?
got some. Matter of fact, when you guys are in here, please hit that notification bell. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do watch this, right? We are watching. So let's get to some of these chats. Brandon Andrews says, hey, call Mike Tenders. Like, just tenders.
Oh, tenders.
Just
Off
tenders.
chicken tenders.
Just
that.
tenders.
That's a contender.
Like that.
That's a contender.
Ryan Ronick says, childish Mike, kind of like childish Gambino, right? Right, okay.
Yep. He does look 12.
He's like 13.
Yeah.
Andrew Bruno says, prison Mike.
Oh, because of his background.
He does have that prison.
I don't hate
I like
that.
this.
I don't
hate that.
You don't deserve to be that hard.
You're right. You're too soft to be called prison Mike.
By the way,
You barely know me.
over under
Yeah,
3.5 days that Mike would last in prison.
Under.
Under 3.5.
Oh my gosh, no
Protective
way.
custody.
That little treat, no.
But you know what? He'd get major playground cred with his three-point shooting ability.
He would.
Like that would
They
impress.
probably heard of him.
That would impress in the prison yard.
Here's one. You might want to go ahead and get a T-shirt made for this. Fro says your name should be mic'd up. That's kind of dope.
Mic'd up.
That's
like
kind
it.
of fire.
I don't like it.
But he can't be cool. We don't want him to have it can't be a cool name.
So it's got to be derogatory.
It doesn't have to be derogatory. It just can't be something that makes him seem cooler than he is, or, in fairness, lamer than he is. We just got to find that sweet spot.
That's a good point.
But also, we do have some comments on your running back list here, Mike.
Yeah.
Tyler Wetzel says, I got JT first. That's Jonathan Taylor. Henry second. Chubb third. Cook fourth. And then Bull. Joe Mixon sneaking in at the 5. Yeah. Like that a lot. Make sure you guys go ahead and like that too. Bruce Elliott says, I totally agree with Mixon. And Mixon is over Eckler. So you guys keep coming at it in. Keep pouring those comments in and keep it going. We will be watching this and we will be going throughout the show, letting you guys know.
I like fingers.
I like
fingers.
tenders. I like tenders.
I'm sorry, not fingers.
I'm not calling them fingers,
That's
bro.
still bit. Yeah.
I'm thinking about, you know
Well,
why I
we could
thought
call them
fingers?
as 3 fingers.
Yeah. The reason I thought of fingers is because I'm looking at myself on the camera and I see my belly looks particularly big today.
That is pause
Like,
worthy.
I know that I'm not thin, but I don't know, maybe it's because Mike is so skinny.
What does that have to do with fingers, though?
I was thinking of my belly. There's
you're
the
thinking of
close-up.
body parts in
I was
general.
tending of body parts.
Okay, I got
so
it.
I went to fingers instead of tenders.
I'm with you, Mike.
regardless.
White is looking at your
Let's
belly.
get off that shot.
Yeah.
before
Look
Nick.
at that.
Guys.
But, Mike is take the camera off me now. It's enough. Mike is.
It just keeps going.
Look, they're zooming in.
Okay. So
If we get
I'm
any
hungry.
Right.
I'm hungry. Mike is so skinny, it's disconcerting.
But we're against.
You're too skinny. You make me look fatter.
Listen, I have
inappropriate.
I have ulcerative colitis.
That's your problem.
You're right.
Gain some weight, will you?
All right, I'll work on it.
That's the UC they talk about on the commercials?
Yeah, you should try it.
They've got a lot of drugs that they advertise for that.
Yeah,
when Brad Sellers was here, he's so tall, nobody's paying attention to my belly.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We've intentionally, so on Mondays and Fridays, Brad Sellers will sit there.
Yeah.
On Tuesdays and Thursdays, Polk will sit there. And Mike is a lot taller than people realize. You probably hear a lot, man, you're a lot taller than I thought. What are you, 6'4"?
Probably not quite that, but probably like 6'2", 6'3".
You don't know exactly how tall you are?
I don't. No, I
Well,
stopped.
we shrink.
Really?
We
No,
shrink.
I wasn't like at the combine or anything where anyone needed to know. I don't know. I probably shrunk a little bit.
They stopped doing that at your pediatrician. Start being like, your son is above average height and weight. You're like, he's going to be a monster. No, he's 5'8". That's what he's
Yeah. All right, let's do this. Let's talk about Tom Brady because I was fascinated when this news broke earlier today. I heard this. Tom Brady, who is coming back to play with the Patriots, and even though a lot of folks think that it's year to year, I'm told that Tom isn't completely set on the idea that he's not got 2 more years in him right now, and then he'll reassess. He's going to play until he's not good, until I feel like he thinks he can't be the best. Last year, to me, he was still the quarterback I want if I've got a fourth quarter drive and I need to score. He's still that guy. He's going to be the Fox lead analyst for their main NFL games on Sunday, which is usually the late game. He's going to jump right into that role as soon as his playing career is over, whether that's 2023, 4, whenever. Do you like that? How's Brady going to be as an analyst?
Well, it's
Mike?
fun. It's fun planning. That stinks to plan that out for Fox too. Just waiting to see if Tom Brady feels like coming. I mean, they got to think about hiring someone.
Yeah.
Then you got somebody who's just like, you're hired unless Tom Brady feels like continuing this.
Well, they have someone already.
Right. So they have
How does that guy
No,
feel?
they really don't. Like
they don't?
Aikman. So Aikman's moving.
Right. Okay, but they will have someone.
Well, Greg Olson right now has been elevated into
Isn't
that
that
number
insulting
one.
to him, though?
Greg
Well,
Olson
I'll tell
has
you,
to hang around.
It is, but if you're Greg Olson also, who, by the way, does a tremendous job.
Yeah.
I think Greg Olson has great command of the broadcast. However, you're being tapped on the shoulder by Tom Brady. You know what I mean?
Greg Olson's just like, all right, I'm out. Yep, I got it.
You're
Right.
sitting in my seat,
So
dog.
imagine if he takes over in 2024, Fox has the Super Bowl that year. Who do you most want to hear during a Super Bowl broadcast? I think Tom Brady should sign with all the networks, and whoever has the Super Bowl that year, that's who he works with. So when
Rotating
CBS
chair.
has the Super Bowl, Tony Romo goes to Fox, and Tom Brady calls all CBS games that year so I can hear him on the Super Bowl.
Are we just assuming, though, that his greatness will translate into the booth? Because I can't necessarily say that's true. Some people who are great at one thing are horrible at another. And even if he obviously understands the game better than almost anybody, but like just assuming that he's going to be charismatic or fun or interesting to listen to is.
And will he be honest?
Right.
That's my concern. A lot of these analysts are not honest. They're not willing to criticize.
Or they don't have strong enough opinions about certain things. Like if I ask you, is Baker Mayfield a starting quarterback? Don't give me, well, he had a good year and a bad. No, you got to at least say he's good, keep him, or he's trash.
In my opinion.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
And I don't think there's anybody more qualified, particularly to talk about quarterback play. But Tom Brady is, I think, the best thing on television right now. And I think this is the biggest this is the biggest new thing in TV since the first down line was added to the NFL games, is the Manning broadcast on ESPN.
But here's the thing, Jay. I loved it at first.
I love it.
My only problem with it is it's too many interviews.
I
don't want
agree with
interviews
that.
the whole time.
Yeah, but
I love the analysis that I was getting from the Manning brothers.
Yeah, I do
Peyton's
too.
the better personality, but Eli has got a quietly pretty funny personality
And they're both
too.
they're both really funny.
They're really good. They got to the point where they were the whole game was interviews, and I want more of them. But I agree. I think if they tweak it a little bit, it's great because
I love watching
Peyton's
it.
fantastic.
I won't watch it if it's a Browns game because I don't want to watch a Browns. I want to be more serious, and I don't want to hear an interview with somebody that goes on for an entire quarter. But I will say, when they bring the right guest in, like when they bring a Brett Favre in,
sure, yeah,
and you're talking so deep in the weeds about quarterback play, and you've got 3 of the greatest quarterback minds, really, of our era, Mannings and Favre. I'm going to sit and listen to them talk about quarterback play until they have nothing left to say. And it's fascinating. But I think on that end, I think that you're right, Mike, not everybody translates. We've seen where a lot of times in broadcasts where they've said this person is going to be the next great thing, and they give them a boatload of money. Do you know, guys, if Brady does this, he's not going to take much of a pay cut.
No, I wouldn't.
They're estimating that his
That's
salary
good. He won't
would
be out in the street.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to be on the street.
Watch this bull.
20 to 30 million is the expected pay.
Now you talk about people that was trash. Hey man, we talk about the people that's good. You've been in the building a long time.
Sure.
Who's the worst to ever do it?
Play-by-play?
Yeah, who's the worst?
Let's go to analysts. Because I respect all the play-by-play guys. I think they're all good.
All right. Yeah,
okay,
they got their attributes. But how about analysts?
Now I have to preface my answer. I'm going to.
He's like, who's not in my cell phone? That's what he's thinking right now.
No. I think no. I'm going to give my opinion. I think that Emmitt Smith wasn't great.
I can't even remember Emmitt doing games.
Well,
there's a reason,
that's
right?
because he wasn't great.
Rush Limbaugh. He did it.
Oh, my God.
Well, and Dennis Miller did it, too.
Yeah.
And in the vein of funny guys doing sports, it's really hard to do.
Kornheiser was bad on that.
Super hard.
Also.
Kornheiser was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Dennis Miller, I didn't think was good
Didn't
either.
work.
Dennis he's got a weird brand of humor anyhow.
Yeah.
You either like him or you don't, but there's a lot of people that don't. And now you're putting him in a sports press box. I thought that was a bad
Take that, Dennis
deal.
Miller. You were bad at that
35
years ago.
I think I like his brand of humor. I think Dennis Miller is
he's
funny, but God, he was awful as a color guy.
That's not what you wanted
Recently,
at all.
Booger
What did you want?
McFarland. I don't think Booger's good in games.
He kept the silent ones, the pillars of our industry to the left. I all believe in them.
I get it.
I'm not shooting at Eagles.
I'm not a big Tony
you asked me
Romo guy,
for the worst guy.
Right.
I'm not a Tony Romo guy.
I love Tony Romo.
I think, to me, and I don't know if this is true or not, he feels like I feel like he's guessing. He doesn't even know all the rules. He's always asking Jim Nantz for the rules. Like, you played in the NFL for a long time. How do you not know all the rules? He doesn't know how to pronounce guys' names. Like,
I'm okay with that. He's not there for that. That's what the play-by-play guy is there for. He's there to tell me what's going to happen and what is happening.
He got a crystal ball.
And I'll tell you, there were a lot of executives that were mixed on him early on. Do you remember early on he was saying, oh, they're going to a quick screen pass to the right, and he was calling plays. And you could tell Jim Nantz hated it. Jim Nantz wasn't into that at all. You know, we're not here to predict, but the viewers loved it. You know why? Because he was right about 90% of the time. And it was typically, he wouldn't call every play, but it was typically when he would see a quarterback put a guy in motion, he would tell you why he's doing that. He's trying to bring the corner over the top or the safety over the top to the right side. That means they're going to the left side just by the alignment they're in. And he was really good at that. I thought he added great insight on that end.
I actually liked him better when he first started, and I think he's not as good. I don't know. Maybe he's not working as hard.
He's the most coveted guy in the business right now.
Well, I guess my opinion doesn't matter. But
Tony Romo, very polarizing.
Yeah.
Can we do the Cavs Awards?
We can do the Cavs Awards.
All right,
we
here we
absolutely
go.
are. So, Mike, set this up. I'm not quite sure exactly
all right,
what
all
this
it is
is.
Cavs had a surprisingly good season, as we all know. They were not supposed to be all that good, and it turned out that they were very good, and that was very exciting for everybody. Season wrapped up a little bit unceremoniously. Wish it wouldn't have happened that way, but they do still deserve some awards when we look back at this year, and I want to hear what you guys think of the awards that I have offered to them.
Great.
Okay, let's start with our first award. Most widely held basketball theory that that the Cavs may have helped to disprove, and that is that tall ball is over. Is that true? Mobley, Allen, and Markkanen all showed up, and they all did very well. And I even included Taco Fall just for fun because he's so fun to look at.
Right.
But we've been hearing for years that tall ball's over. Is it over, guys? And did we just prove that that's not true?
I think that's why they had so much success, because teams defensively aren't built to stop that.
Yeah.
So they ran over teams with tall ball.
I think tall ball worked because they had a couple of guys that could do a lot of different things. I think Lauri Markkanen was the cog that made it work.
When he was hurt,
when
they
was hurt,
they struggled.
Didn't look too good.
as someone that liked 80s and 90s basketball a lot better than modern basketball, I hope it's coming back. I don't think the Cavs proved it because they didn't go anywhere when it mattered. But time will tell. I mean, I think they can. I hope we can get some variety in the NBA.
Wait till these guys mature a little bit.
Yeah. There's a lot of talent.
Those guys are all signed.
The thing is, it's a copycat league, just like the NFL.
Yep.
If they become a difficult matchup for every team in the league, which we saw that this season, we saw teams were like, looking around like, how are we supposed to stop that? We're not built to stop that.
Right.
So I think,
and they're all tall. They're all like none of them are Andre Drummond slow either. Like all of them can get out and defend the three and stuff. I think it just proves that anytime we're making just sweeping like comments and generalizations and saying tall ball is completely over, sometimes it's just a matter of finding the right personnel and the right system, and it can work.
It's an interesting philosophy.
And a team willing to do it.
And the Cavs are all in on it.
They were.
I like it.
We were all questioning it, I think, before the season.
I was, for sure. I'm like, what are they doing? This is dead.
Right.
But now I think it's back, and they did it.
Next category, most widely held basketball theory that the Cavs may have helped to prove. And that would be that it is hard to win with two smaller guards starting in the same backcourt. Now, we had, Darius Garland and Colin Sexton at the beginning of the year who actually played pretty well together, but then Garland came into his own once Sexton went down.
Yeah.
Does that prove, first of all, that people were right and those two can't play together?
I don't think it proves it. It wasn't enough games, but we talked about this yesterday. I mean, I think the Cavs need to get better at the guard position. They need to get better at the wing position, too. But if they have to move on from Colin Sexton to do it, they should.
Mike, put that graphic back up here. Look how short and small these dudes look right here, bro. Mm-hmm. I don't know if y'all.
Well, we don't have a reference point, really.
Yeah. Colin Sexton look like he about 5'7.5" right there.
Well,
with them pictures, no, they're not playing in the same backcourt. We're gonna get destroyed. But all jokes aside, I think I'm more of a guy that thinks like this. Karis LeVert is 6'6", and he didn't show me what I needed to see. He's just tall. You could be short and good and tall and terrible. Caris LeVert didn't show me what I needed to see. I think Colin Sexton was the missing cog, and if Colin was available, I think they would have went to the playoffs.
I second that. I want to see them together more. I haven't seen them together enough.
Regardless, was it good for the growth of Darius Garland that Colin Sexton was hurt this year? Because
it was the best thing that happened to Garland, absolutely, because now he didn't have to work in the shadow of. He could assert himself a little bit more, and I think he surprised everybody, I think.
I think he would have done it either way. I really do. I think he was ready to pop. I think it would have happened either way.
I just want to see the two of them together more. And I know yesterday we talked about trading Sexton and how that would make the Cavs a better team, particularly if you got the right
Well,
part.
this specific trade. I don't want to trade him just to trade him.
No, but I think that before you do that, I do want to see a body of work with these guys, even if it's 40 games, whatever.
Yeah.
I want to see them both together, healthy, how they interact, how they share the ball. Can the team, sometimes you need two basketballs depending on who you have out there.
Yeah. I also think that Ricky Rubio was a huge help in the beginning of the season, training those guards how to be professional guards.
Yeah, his professionalism helped.
Moving on, worst year for an alumni of the Cavaliers 2016 championship team. That goes to
a tough one.
LeBron James.
Yeah,
okay, great.
Right
That's fine. So obviously he had great stats, despite the fact that he's so old that he was playing when Karl Malone was playing. That's actually true, which is amazing to me. But he also did not pull his team across the finish line in the way that he has in the past. This is a guy that took Donyell Marshall and Eric Snow to the NBA Finals, and somehow with that group. I have it. They were 25-31 when he was on the court this season with LeBron, and he was unable to bring them.
I don't think we've ever seen that.
Yeah.
So
what does that tell us? Is he on his way down? Can he not do this at that level anymore?
No, I think the talent around him stunk. However, he's part of the reason for that because he was the one that kind of pressured the team to go
do they stink? I don't think they stink. I think it was a chemistry experiment that went horribly wrong.
Well, they had three really talented players, and the rest of the team was pretty awful.
But in the Big Three era, that's enough to get teams over
and
the
chemistry
line.
was terrible, but they
wanted
it. But they wanted Russell Westbrook there.
No, I know, but I think more than anything, I think when things go south with LeBron,
he gets all the
He
blame.
is a front runner, guys. We've seen that time and time again in the Celtics series when he basically said, I'm done, I give up. When LeBron wants to play and he's engaged and interested, he can dominate a game, he can dominate a series, he can dominate a season. But I think we saw early on in November, there were signs that this thing was not going to work, and it went terribly south from there. And quite frankly, I think all of their season ticket holders deserve a refund because they stole their money.
Champion of the bit. What do you think?
Well, listen, LeBron James, you guys know he could have won the scoring title this year, right?
If he wanted to,
he sat out the last game. He averaged 30 points a game, and he's like 100, right? If you look at it, the reason the Lakers are trash is because of Anthony Davis. He can't stay healthy. He was supposed to be their best player right now. He's not.
No.
Russell Westbrook was a move out of haste. That didn't really work out.
LeBron wanted that move, so he's got to take some of the blame.
Hey, I'll give him that blame. Yeah. But for me, 2016 guy having the worst year ever is Kyrie Irving. He's having the worst year.
Wasn't a good year for Kyrie.
I mean, he basically said, "I'm not going to get vaccinated."
Yeah.
Then he checked out.
Yeah.
Then Harden left.
But at least they made the playoffs.
Yeah, he made the playoffs despite all that. I know. Oh, let's move on. Let's do the best year for an alumni of the Cavaliers 2016 championship. This was a tie between Kevin Love, who had a very strong season, came back strong, looked like he wanted to be there.
Almost the NBA's sixth man.
Almost, and possibly should have been, depending on how you quantify that. And J.R. Smith, obviously.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
4.0, everybody. And golf scholarship, I believe.
Who saw that coming?
Nobody.
Raise your hand.
I love that dude.
Living his best
life.
life.
I
Just
love him
went
too,
back to
man.
college, man. Shout out to J.R. Smith. Who gets to go? Well, can you imagine? I pay thousands to go back
Just right now.
Just one day.
Think about where his reputation was and where it is now.
Yes, exactly.
Right, JR had a really bad reputation, and now it's like we all think highly of JR Smith.
I think he's matured as
Big
a human
time.
being
He's
way
the
more
winner.
than I thought he could.
Yeah,
I love
JR.
J.R. Smith, and kudos to what he's doing, emphasizing education, and he's playing golf in college.
Yep, and I think college seems like it'd be really fun to go back to when you think about it for a second, but we get there and in one day we'd be like, get me out of here right now.
I feel like
I wouldn't want to go to class, but the rest of it.
I want to go to class with JR.
Yeah.
I want to be his bio
I want
lab partner.
I want to hear the questions he asks the professor. That'd be fantastic.
All right, what's your next
next
topic?
one. Best offseason acquisition, or who looks like a really tall 8-year-old boy. And that would be Finnish sensation, Lauri Markkanen. There he is, everybody.
I don't even think there's a guy we can put as number 2 in that role.
No, that's him.
I thought Taco Fall maybe.
Taco Fall, no. He looks like a Rick
Does
Baker
Markkanen
creation.
shave? Does he need to shave yet?
No, I'm in love with Lauri Markkanen. I think he's been fantastic the whole season. And what a nice little quiet pickup that they had.
Yeah, very nice.
Next, best hashtag to celebrate a Cavs scoring flurry, and that is hashtag Cavalanche. Look, we even got G. Bush has used it at one point.
You know what? That really is good.
Cavalanche is and I would see it whenever there were like 6 of my friends who watched all the Cavs games, of course, like psychopaths, and were texting back and forth to each other the whole time. And whenever they'd go on a run, somebody was the first one to put the hashtag Cavalanche at us. And there's just I'm trying to get that going. I think it's fun.
You have friends that text each other hashtags?
No, yeah.
It's a little odd to
me. We do, yeah.
You know, within the conversation.
It'll be like, everybody watching this hashtag Cavalanche. Yeah, we'll do hashtags within the thing.
All right.
Anyways, I'm a fan of that. I like that.
Start spreading that around.
Cavalanche.
Okay, next one. Best Cavs player loosely related to the lead singer of the OJs. Anyone know this?
No idea.
You know, I've heard this. You may have been the guy that told me.
I might have been.
LeVert.
It is.
It is LeVert.
Very good.
I heard that. I don't know where I heard it, but
Karis
I did.
LeVert is the third cousin of Eddie LeVert, the lead vocalist of Canton, Ohio-based R&B group The OJs.
Of course.
Aren't we all third cousins?
Is that in a
to
way
some degree?
down the low?
I went on my 23andMe. I got all these third cousins. They're reaching out to me. They want all this and that.
Is LeVert one of them? Is one of them somebody who wrote Love
No.
Train?
I don't know.
Let me go out on the limb and say no.
No.
Bull is not LeVert's
Here's the
third
most
cousin.
disappointing thing when I went to 23andMe. I was told forever that I had a relative from South Africa, right? And I was like, well, that's cool. Like, I'm just like an Eastern European Jewish guy. There's nothing exciting about that. But I'm like, I got one relative from South Africa. Who knows what kind of background I have? I had no relative from South Africa.
You know
Nobody.
how you get the percentage of where you're
I'm
from?
99.9% Ashkenazi Jew. That's it. There's no excitement.
Yeah, you guys
I'm
weren't big
proud.
on you weren't really commingling.
Guys stuck together.
I'm proud of who I am, but it's boring.
99.9?
And then 0.1% like Neanderthal, I think.
That's a lot.
Wow.
I had a higher percentage than there's like most Neanderthal
I had you at least
genes.
20% Neanderthal.
No, I'm like,
At
no.
least.
I'm like 65% Neanderthal genes, like background.
caveman.
Yeah.
I think that is your nickname is Caveman.
I'm going to be eating an elephant leg later. Go
Well,
ahead.
anyways, just so you know, they wrote the song "Love Train." Keep
Yes.
on the
Yes.
world train. Fantastic.
Well done,
Yeah.
Mike.
Best Austin Carr tweet of the season. This one is my favorite out of all of them. Austin Carr's legend. I love the man. And here it is. It's the one where he agreed with himself. He said, Cavs must get back to defense, the first to get their mojo back. And then later on, he said, I agree. Go Cavs. That's Mr. Basketball, everybody. He's a great follow if you don't follow him. He's like one of those people who just answers questions but doesn't exactly know how Twitter works. So he'll just his whole tweet will just be like, I don't know, about 7 p.m. And he tweeted that because someone asked him a question, but then he just put it into the other window.
So he doesn't get the at.
Yes, not totally.
Yeah,
but
I got to admit, when I first dove into that Twitter pool,
sure,
I did a lot of that. And finally, one of our social media directors came to me and said, "Bro, you don't need to respond to like the Twitterverse.
Yeah.
You know, when people ask you questions, I'm like, well, I don't know. No one told me how to do it.
They got to get Austin that orientation packet on the tweet.
Yeah.
The social media.
Please don't. I love what he's doing right now.
But who's supposed to help him? Jeff Phelps?
Oh, he's got a team. That's Mr. Cavalier. He's like interns, whatever.
I'm with Mike.
He can do whatever
Austin,
he wants.
you do Austin.
Keep him
Let
coming.
us enjoy it.
What else?
Throw the hammer down.
One last one.
One last
that
one.
is the most underappreciated Evan Mobley statistic. Obviously, great year. Second place in rookie of the year.
Free throw percentage.
And it's this. It's the fact that he's so boring. And his off the court boringness is fantastic to me, and I absolutely love it. I didn't hear anything bad. This is what I'm showing. This is one of his latest tweets. It's one where he bought his mom a car for his birthday. That's how boring he is. She is a grade school teacher. His father's name is Eric. He is the most wonderfully boring player. I didn't see him at one club this whole season.
And I was looking for it.
He didn't buy like 6 sports cars. He did nothing. He just practiced free throws right after the game. I loved how boring he was.
I like to go on Instagram and be like, ooh, Darius Garland got 35. I wonder what jump offs he got. I know he got a bag full of them.
Right.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I saw nothing on Evan Mobley.
I'm
like, would you please go out? He's like 18. He buys his mom a car.
No.
And his mom,
I'm okay with that.
His mom's so humble. She's crying. You do know your son is rich, right?
Right. Yeah, he can handle this. No, that's what I love, though. We are so lucky to have him. No issues like that. He is like a somehow even more boring, hopefully, Tim Duncan in every way.
Hopefully,
you know what I mean?
we keep him as long as San Antonio. I mean, can you imagine if we get that guy for his entire career?
Yep.
Don't you even put that out there, Jay.
Listen, it scares the death out of me. I think he's the kind of guy, though, that would do that.
Yeah. But
you're right. I see a lot of comparisons personality to Tim Duncan.
And I like in that he has no personality.
Just vanilla.
And I want that.
I want that, too, especially on my NBA superstar.
Coach's son, which is fantastic,
so you
obviously.
know he's smart.
You know he's smart, and you know his dad's been on him, and he just seems like a real stand-up guy, and I love that I never saw him have one incident. He was never, like, pulled over going 85 miles an hour on a motorbike.
I don't think you will either. I don't think you're going to find any of that.
So anyways, those are my Cavs awards. Congratulations. Great season, Cavs.
Yeah, well done, Mike. Well done. Very well done. Made me think about things that I've seen before but never actually talked about. That's the beauty of it.
I have one bonus that I have to throw in at the last second, and that is we have to get rid of one thing or at least improve it. Do you remember the Junkyard Dog Award that they gave out? It was just like a and here's the thing. It's a nice concept.
Yeah.
They kept giving it to Isaac Okoro for trying real hard. But the chain itself, and I wish we would have gotten a picture. I forgot about this. It just looks like a chain from like a swing set. That's just it's just this thin. There's nothing impressive about it whatsoever. And we've got to change the chain and make that thicker or more intimidating because right now it's an embarrassing award to win.
Well, we can pass that along to our friends over at the Cavs. Yeah, I agree with you. I never thought about that, but now that you mention it, we can do better.
I'm personal friends with Moondog. I can pass that along.
All right, definitely.
Not bragging. There I go name dropping again.
All right. Well, Moondog, if he was in my Rolodex, I would brag about that too.
Yeah.
We're going to good bet, bad bet right now. We did this yesterday. Bull, congratulations, 3-0 yesterday.
I'm on fire.
Terrific
we end the competition
day yesterday.
right now?
I think I was 1-2. What was G. Bush? 2-1.
Hey, listen.
I'm bringing up the rear.
Yeah.
I hope that continues.
I have a perfect record.
So you're for now you are. Producer Mike, do you want to take us through those?
Yeah, we're gonna start with the first one. We're going GJ Bull Polk. First bet of the day. Cleveland Indians getting a 1.5 on the road against Chicago.
You owe $1, by the way. You just said Cleveland Indians.
Yep.
Now you do
Cleveland
too.
Guardians.
No, I was calling him out.
Oh, I see. That's okay.
Yeah, you're allowed to use it if you're calling someone out, but
fair.
only if you're calling someone out. G. Bush, good bet or bad bet?
Man, they had a great game last night, but that has nothing to do with today. I'm going to have to go bad bet on this one. Bad bet.
Yeah, I'm with you. Bad bet. I don't like the pitching matchup, and they've won 8 of 10. And I'm holding my breath. I'm waiting for the other shoe to fall because I'm a Guardians fan.
Yeah,
I'm used to that.
I feel the same.
I'm saying bad bet. You got bad bet too?
You can't come off a night like last night and you got to lose a little steam on that.
Hard to carry.
Do that again, Naylor.
Yeah.
I'm going against my better judgment because normally I go with the better pitcher more often than not. But I'm not picking against them coming off that win. I know it doesn't necessarily carry over the next day, but that was a big one. To come back down 6 runs in the ninth, I think they're going to get it done today. Not only cover, but win.
So that's a good bet.
I hope
for
you're
you.
right.
Yeah, good
I'm
bet.
sorry
Right.
I messed up your graphics, T-Bone, or whatever.
You went out of order.
I know,
You
my
went
bad.
out of order.
It won't happen again.
Yeah,
J
we'll try.
Smash.
We'll try to keep these in the order because these graphics are built a certain way.
Totally my
guys.
bad.
Yeah.
It's my first day, everybody.
Tenders.
That's me.
We're going to call you Tenders until we get something
went
better.
bad bet.
How often do you wear a suit, by the way?
Constantly.
do?
Yeah, this is my first time out of one. I sleep in
Suits are inappropriate.
No, I don't know where they got that. They got that promo picture from Wikipedia or something, I think.
Yeah. Tenders, what's the next game?
Next game, Suns, Mavs. Suns, 6-point favorites at home. It's tied 2-2. Is taking the Suns a good bet? G. Bush.
That's a good bet. CP3 at home. Let's get it done. I think this series has been very enjoyable. Suns, I think it's a really good bet.
I think it's a bad bet. I think the Suns will win. I just think it's going to be very, very close. Come down to the last possession. So I think they win, but they don't cover. Bad bet on the Suns.
Guys, I think everybody gets very prisoner of the moment when it comes to the NBA playoffs. But things change drastically with the home court, more than any other sport. I think even more than football when the playoffs. Because the others do better at home, right? The other players, the secondary guys. The Suns are going to run roughshod all over them. They'll win by double digits. Good bet.
Well, hey, you're 3-0.
It's my turn to think. I'm gonna take the Suns as well.
Good bet on the Suns.
They're
Good
at home.
bet.
Yeah, I mean, why not? That seems they're going the direction. We don't know. Nobody knows.
No, these are all shots in the dark.
Yeah.
Tenders, what's your last one?
We got to go quick here. Heat over, under 209. Is it a good bet to go over? Heat Sixers. G. Bush.
Oh, I'm gonna go over. I think that's a good bet, man. I'm gonna take that. I think James Harden is starting to hit shots now. Joel Embiid, and you got guys like Danny Green that are starting to hit more jumpers and shots. I think this is going to be over. It's a good bet.
Yeah, I think it's a good bet too. I like the 76ers in this game. I think with Embiid back in, I feel like more than ever now he's kind of back in his skin. So I say good bet, and I actually like the Sixers.
2 of the last 3 games over. Embiid, as you said, is back. Good bet.
I'll go under. Miami is at home, and they're the second best defensive team in the league this year.
Yeah, well, they are. They definitely are a good defensive team. We'll see what happens. All right, we're going to take a break on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. When we come back, we're going to have a lot of fun with a segment we call Judge J.
Yes, sir.
We're going to do 2 topics today. One is a diehard sports topic. The other one is a fun human interest topic that I can't wait to hear where Mike Polk is going to take us on that. But that's after the break on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Judge J coming right back. You'll hardly recognize me when you see me again.
News you can trust should be news you can rely on.
And every night at 11 on What's Next, you can rely on us.
A new legal twist for Brown.
Today also marks the beginning of
We're here, and we are going to continue.
So the Guardians have to play almost.
You can rely on us to help you go to bed better informed with stories that prepare you for tomorrow.
And with news that's relevant to your life. We'll make sure that you're ready for what's next.
Because being ready for tomorrow is what matters most.
We face challenges every day, some bigger than others, and we never know what's around the corner.
Through the highs and the lows, whatever we face it together. Each morning on Go, we are here with the facts, because what impacts you impacts all of us.
And understanding those facts helps us to make informed decisions for our families, our communities, and our future.
We are here for you every step of the way. Go, weekday mornings, 4:30 to 7 a.m.
Recognize that feeling? It is the feeling of being together, enjoying the company of a familiar face, and sharing moments that matter to you, to me, to us. What matters to some could impact all of us, especially in a place like Northeast Ohio. Here, stories are shared from east to west to south. Stories of perseverance, of family, of love. If a story brings us together, it's what matters most.
When you watch Front Row, you never have to ask what's going on in Cleveland.
It is our job to get you up to speed on the latest news and events so you can enjoy all our city has to offer. We are bright, bold, and all about the action.
Whether you're a diehard Browns fan, waiting on breaking news, or searching for a special event for a weekend away.
Our hometown has it all. So join us. We're waiting for you. Front Row, weeknights at 7.
Oh, man.
All right, everybody
Scared the
down.
crap out of me.
Everybody down.
That was a
Why
loud
was that
gavel.
guy from Operation
Guys.
Desert Storm in here?
So that's our bailiff. Anthony,
a
where are
bomb
you?
in the-
Anthony, where are you? You have to come back. And
It's a
we
disaster.
didn't get the cap on his.
I think he has to run something.
So
back.
what we asked him was, hey, Anthony, can you come up with whatever a bailiff would wear?
That's
Why
what
did you decide? What,
Yeah.
Like you've got a
What are
bulletproof
you?
vest.
I guess I can talk. It's all I had.
Remember Jeremy Renner? What was that movie with Jeremy Renner where he's defusing bombs?
exactly.
Oh, that was
in
a
Iraq,
great movie.
right?
Have you ever
Yeah.
seen a bailiff before?
No.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you. Go ahead. You did
All
great,
right.
man. Have fun.
Tremendous job.
Google Bull from Night Court. There
yeah,
you go.
that's all you
A
got to
black
do.
man would get shot wearing that. You can't
Oh no, yeah, you can't come in like that.
run around in a bulletproof vest.
And my wires are just a mess.
Oh,
I've
boy.
got this silly judge robe on.
Yeah. Yes,
For
you do.
future segments, I'm actually going to be wearing a judge wig. You know the old school judge wig?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
like
that's
the
gonna-
old British type.
Yeah, that's going to happen, but that's
Yeah.
down the road.
Well,
You know,
when
we
the
got
budget allows.
We've got a limited prop
get there.
budget right now.
So you're going to be doing different topics for us to debate on right now, right? Yes.
Oh, correct.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so
It's really going
We'll be
willy
deaf
nilly.
by the end of the segment.
listen, I know you've been sworn. I've read your complaints. Here's how this is going to work. So, Tenders, you're going to give the topic, correct? Is that right? He's going to give the topic, and then
Yeah.
we're going to debate. But the first debate is going to, what, you'll take it away.
Go ahead.
We got 2 debates on the docket today. Number 1, if you were the Browns GM and could only sign one of the following 2 players, would you sign Jadeveon Clowney or Jarvis Landry?
And who are the litigants for this?
It's these two. These
Okay,
two
so
gentlemen.
Bull versus G. Bush. Bull, you can go
Yeah.
first.
Guys, this one's easy to me. Jarvis Landry is the call. And I know I'm in the minority opinion here, and I know G's going to disagree, and I think a lot of the fans are going to agree with him. But it's not just about, listen, pass rusher is more important as an individual position than wide receiver. I get that. So I'm at a disadvantage here. But I can rely on Jarvis Landry. I know he missed some time last year. It was the first time he'd ever missed time in his career. I know Jarvis Landry wants to win. I know Jarvis Landry's a good leader. I know Jarvis Landry's a passionate guy. And I know that outside of a couple of games last year, he's always been a reliable player. I get he's getting a little old. Okay. And they have a clear hole at second wide receiver, just like they have a clear hole at pass rusher. I don't trust Jadeveon Clowney. I think he's a good player and gets treated like a great player, and I don't think he's a great player. Myles Garrett's the star on the defensive line. I think Clowney is unreliable in terms of injury. I think he's unreliable in terms of passion for the game. There's always, why is it that he always signs late? Why is it that nobody's ever breaking down the door for him? Now, you could say, well, Jarvis is not signed either. That's just one time here, right? I don't know. There's something about Clowney that I don't love.
Okay, good points, all of them. G. Bush?
Your Honor, Adam the Bull, great lawyer. This guy really does his homework, but he didn't do his homework on this one. He talks about, Jadeveon Clowney being injury prone. Well, Jarvis Landry is the guy who had surgery last year.
My.
When you talk about Jadeveon Clowney, this guy played hurt and was productive while he played hurt. And sometimes it's not whether or not you're a superstar or whether or not you're over-the-top great player. Everyone knows he's not as good as Myles Garrett, but guess what? He unlocks Myles Garrett's other potential, right? You can't double-team Myles now, and he makes the defensive tackles better because Jadeveon Clowney is a guy who now, if you want to slide somewhere, tackles are getting one-on-one coverage. Tackles are getting one-on-one coverage all across the board. If you get Jadeveon Clowney to come back for the Cleveland Browns, you now have 2 of the most formidable defensive ends. You need that against guys who can move the pocket, that can run. Joe Burrow's in this division. You look at Lamar Jackson is in this division. He's also going to make those corners better. You just signed Denzel Ward. Jadeveon Clowney makes the entire defense better. He's an impact guy. I love Jarvis to death.
Okay, that's the end of the arguments because we have a hard interview coming up at 12:30. Shawn Porter.
right.
Shawn Porter's a boxer. The one guy that you don't want to make wait for an
That's right.
interview
I'm not
is a
gonna
boxer. So here's how we're going to settle this whole thing. First of all, Mike, you can be a one-man juror here. You can sort of help me make my decision.
I'm someone in the gallery in a southern courtroom.
So you're not even paying attention.
No, that's why I have this.
Exactly with the
or an Adam Sandler movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
I heard everything, but it's up to you.
But are you coming down on one side? Before I make my ruling, are you coming down on one side or the other here?
I can't believe that you're allowing yourself to be influenced by a member of the gallery
well,
like this.
Well, this is a different court.
Are you an elected official?
I accept bribes.
I understand.
So if any of these guys want to pay me to rule in their favor, I will.
I think they both made excellent points. I will say this. Myles Garrett specifically said he wants Jadeveon Clowney back. I like a happy Myles Garrett, and so I would kind of lean that way.
Okay, that's fair. I understand that. Mike, do we have comments? Is anybody weighing in on as to whether or not they want Clowney, or he's not prepared to look at the chat right now?
We'll have that. People are saying
okay,
Clowney.
So here's what I'm ready to make my ruling, guys. I'm ready to make my ruling, and you, Bull, you actually convinced me early on with something that you said. I think that this is more about the human being, like the tangibles that this player, the intangibles that this player will bring. I think that we saw early on that Jarvis Landry changed the culture of this team.
100%.
With the whole bless him, do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When they were on Hard Knocks and we got to see what a vocal leader he can be, particularly in his position group. I'm worried about Jadeveon Clowney getting the money, getting more than a one-year deal, and then saying, I got a little bit of a tweak hamstring here. I'm not going to be able to go. He was motivated by what this year? Money.
Mm-hmm.
1-year deal. If you can get this guy on a 1-year deal, it might change. I might say, okay, take Clowney again on a 1-year deal. He's incentivized to be out there every play. But I think Jarvis Landry, both what he can bring on the field and the intangibles that he brings to the locker room, my ruling is for Bull.
Yeah.
It is. If I'm only going to sign one, it's going to be Landry. So you're 1-0 now in this whole gimmick.
Thank you.
The other thing too is, in my opinion, the kid from Oklahoma that the Browns drafted, the kid that we all fell in love with. I can't think of his name now.
Isaiah Thomas.
No, not Isaiah Thomas. Winfrey.
Winfrey.
He's going to change lives in Cleveland.
Yeah.
He's going to change
this
lives.
year?
And
not this year. Maybe not this year, but I think he's going to come in and have a big – he's not going to be Mac Wilson.
Right.
I don't think he's going to be Mac Wilson.
I need a vocal leader in that wide receiver room. I'm not sure Amari Cooper's it. He's obviously a better talent than Landry. But
they both need a good wingman. I'll give you guys that. Okay, what's our next topic? Mike's involved in this one.
We actually got an email submission for this one. If you have a question you want us to answer, email us at ucss@wkyc.com. But this one was an email submission from Leah Musgrave. Are there more chairs or people in the world? Mike Polk versus G. Bush. Mike Polk versus Adam the Bull.
Can I close? Can I go second? Do you mind?
I don't. See, I'm going to go. I think there's more people in the world. I really have no idea.
Right.
I wish there were less people in the world. We have a lot of terrible people.
There is no statistic that actually tells us the truth of this, right, Fingers?
No, there's no real answer.
Official
okay,
answer.
great.
This is
I
up to
wish
Judge
I had
Jay.
like the Thanos ability to snap my fingers and get rid of the people I don't like, but I don't have that ability.
You want to just vaporize them?
Yes.
My God.
What if I could wipe out all the racists and terrorists and pedophiles
Get rid of them.
and rapists and murderers? Wipe them all out with one snap of the finger.
Boy.
And you're the judge, jury, and the executioner.
That's it. God.
That's harsh, Bull.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
Wow, you also
But the
vaporize
reality
them.
is, we've overpopulated this world. We're destroying the planet, and so if that's not depressing enough, I'll say that there's so many people that we're ruining the planet.
So you're contending that there are more people than chairs?
Yes.
All right.
Mike?
Yeah. Well, Your Honor, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Obviously. I mean, how many chairs are in this room alone? Sure, we got
a stack of them right
there's
there
a
that
big
are off
stack
camera.
of them right over there.
10. We have 10 chairs in this
How
room.
many chairs do you have at home? You're just one man. How many people live in your house?
3.
You have 3 chairs total, or you have 3 people in your house?
3 people.
3 people.
I have about 10 chairs.
10 chairs.
Mike's making great points right
Not
now.
only that, right now.
That boy good. That
We have
boy
a
good.
population. Look at those
I
chairs
just
over
wanted to
there.
kill
Show
people
that
with the
again. Look at
finger.
all
I don't
the
know.
chairs.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, just there. Not only that, we're almost 8 billion people in the world right now. True, there are. But there were people before that, and there were people before that, and they all had chairs, multiple chairs, a lot of them. Now,
Did they?
Some countries, they
Yes.
don't have enough
The
chairs.
cavemen had chairs? They didn't have chairs.
Not
Yeah, they
all
were
of them.
stones, but they had chairs. They just sat
Does a
on big
stone
rocks.
count as a chair?
It depends. Well,
Back then
it's-
it did.
It's funny you bring that
On the
up.
Flintstones,
Because
did
I
they have
looked up
chairs?
the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of chair. And the definition of chair is a seat typically having 4 legs and a back for one person. Typically, not always.
That's the buzzword.
With that, and according to Merriam-Webster, that makes a couch a chair. How many couches? Now we add the couches in. Love seats.
Sure.
Okay, you're on a bus. That's
Bar
a chair.
stools.
Bar stools.
Stadium seats.
These, according to Merriam-Webster, those are all chairs.
I think I've been crushed in this.
Yeah, you know what? make one more point, because I can't hear enough of this, but make one more point. Do you have another one?
Last point. When you do an architectural dig, all right, back to ancient Samaria or something like that. You know what you're going to find back there? You're going to find a damn chair. At least one chair.
At least
an
one.
ancient artifact. And so these chairs are just populated in places we don't even know throughout this globe. Far more chairs than people. I rest my case.
Yeah, I think, I don't know what the voice of the people
convinced
thinks
me.
on this,
Yeah.
but very compelling argument.
I'm the Clarence Darrow.
And besides, Bull wants to vaporize people.
Yes, I do.
Doug Kitt says, how many chairs are in all of the sports venues in the world? You got dog walk, Bull.
Right.
It's landslide.
Think about
Bull,
that.
this isn't even
It was a
close.
losing argument.
It was. You were in a bad spot.
So the judge has made his ruling. Mike Polk makes a compelling case that there are definitely more chairs than people. I think we all have more chairs, probably fivefold, in our own homes.
People don't talk about it enough.
No,
it's a hot button issue.
It will be now.
You went to college for 4 years to win that argument.
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
I went for 7.
Hey, college was the best 9 years of my life. All right, we're going to take a break on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. When we come back, I can't wait. Shawn Porter, the Northeast Ohio native who was a tremendous both amateur and professional boxer, out of the game now, but he's a fight analyst. He's going to join us to talk all things boxing. And, guys, he's a huge Cleveland sports fan, so we want to get his take on Browns, Cavs, Guardians. I almost slipped there. Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, coming right back. That's a serious gavel.
It is very heavy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where did this...
Recognize that feeling? It is the feeling of being together, enjoying the company of a familiar face, and sharing moments that matter to you, to me, to us. What matters to some could impact all of us, especially in a place like Northeast Ohio. Here, stories are shared from east to west to south. Stories of perseverance, of family, of love. If a story brings us together, it's what matters most.
Seeing, knowing, and understanding Northeast Ohio is something we take very seriously.
Because in our connected world, what happens in one community can have an impact on others,
leading to difficult challenges and opportunities for reflection and growth.
So, for in-depth analysis of how today's top stories affect you, your family, and our communities across Northeast Ohio,
join us for 3 News at 6.
So you know what matters most.
What matters most to me is family. Sometimes you don't realize how important it is until you're away from them.
What matters most to Jay? His family. He is a big family man. What matters most to me? My family, my safety, your safety.
I think the thing that most impresses me about Betsy is her versatility. Give her any assignment that involves going in front of a television camera, and she's going to knock it out of the park.
What's new with Betsy and Jay? Weekdays at 5 on 3.
When you watch Front Row, you never have to ask what's going on in Cleveland.
It is our job to get you up to speed on the latest news and events so you can enjoy all our city has to offer. We are bright, bold, and all about the action.
Whether you're a diehard Browns fan, waiting on breaking news, or searching for a special event for a weekend away,
Our hometown has it all. So join us. We're waiting for you. Front Row, weeknights at 7.
I've decided being a judge is really hard work, and I definitely respect all judges. I think they've got a very difficult job, and I'm glad that I never decided that I wanted to take that avenue in life. Because it is a lot of fun.
A lot of power, though.
Well, hitting the gavel is really powerful. Like when you
That's
slam
why most
that
of
down.
them get into it.
Yeah, and wait till I get my judge wig. That's coming soon. It'll be here later this week. So I'll have the white curly, the old-fashioned style.
We're looking forward to that.
I'll be
Quaker
very
Oats.
official.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always wondered why
you
did
have to talk with a British accent?
No, I won't, because I don't really have a good one. All right, our next guest, we're thrilled to welcome Shawn Porter to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Guys, I was doing some research on Shawn. What's up, my buddy?
Hey,
this.
Clap.
Yeah, hold on.
He told us to clap. We better clap.
Local boy.
Yeah. First of all, he's got an electric smile. I think he's great on television as an analyst. But, dude, I was looking up his record, and the one thing champ, that jumped out at me. You were 276-14 as an amateur. What did you do? Fight twice a day?
Bro.
Gee.
No. People don't know this, though, but in the amateurs, you fight in a tournament. That tournament lasts the entire week. So as a professional, you fight once every couple of months. As an amateur, you might fight up to 5 times in 1 week.
Can you imagine that?
I started when I was 8, and before I was 21, it added up to about 270 odd fights with a couple of losses here and there.
276-14.
Oh my God!
Think about people who like take off 6 months between fights, and he's doing 5 in a week. I played that game at Dave & Buster's where you put the fake boxing gloves on and do that. I got exhausted 30 seconds.
Oh,
in.
in 1 round, you're wiped out.
Well, wait a second, guys. We missed something here. Sean, you said you started when you were 8. You actually had a boxing match that counts on your amateur record from when you were 8?
Yeah, and that's what I say. A lot of times when you see a guy with an amateur record and it's only got 3 or 4 losses on it, and he's got 100 wins, usually that guy is not counting the fights that he had when he was 8 or 9 years old. When you add it all up.
Were you wearing underoos in the ring?
Right.
I don't even know what underoos are. I'm 34.
Oh,
yeah,
we're too old.
We're
too old. That's like when we were kids. When we were kids, like you were 8 years old, you had like little kid underwear was underoos. That was like a cool thing. Well, I thought it was cool, but I don't know
that it was that cool actually.
Yeah,
but,
well, the 70s.
Look, if Showtime doesn't know what it is,
it can't be cool.
It's not cool.
He's really trying to justify it right now.
I know he is. He's working hard.
He's wearing them, no doubt.
He's working hard. Hey, I want to ask you. I want to start with your retirement. After the last fight with Crawford in November, you said you're done. But I said at the meeting this morning, boxers retire so they can unretire. You are not the conventional boxer, but I do want to know, you're still a young guy. You're not even 35 yet, are you?
No.
Are you done? Are we ever going to see you fight in the ring again, or do you mean it when you say you're done?
Yeah, honestly, man, not too many things about me are conventional. From the way that I fought to the way that I carry myself outside of the boxing ring, much different from a lot of the fighters out there. No disrespect to them. I've always wanted to be different. And that's kind of something else that my dad always pushed on me. He said, you always have to do something to separate yourself from everyone else. And so even in that respect, being 34 years old, looking at all of the goals that I wanted to accomplish in the sport of boxing, able to accomplish those things, why continue? Why not move forward with my life and do all of the things that I've wanted to do? That some things I put off because of boxing, and other things I just kind of found a love for other things while fighting, So I'm ready to do everything else and just live a great life.
Do you find, there's a lot of times when you play football or contact sports where, you love the game, but the consistent blows, the consistent wear and tear of just being able to be in that type of shape, it just wears on you. Did you come to a point where it was like you woke up one day and was like, I can't do this no more. This don't work for my long-term plans.
I definitely was getting to that point, and I said I started to watch fights, and I was like, as a fighter, when you have this thought when you're watching the fight, ooh, that looked like it hurt. When you start to think like that, I was watching the fight and I had that thought. I said, it's about time for me to start making my exit out of this bad boy, because I'm having these types of thoughts, and those type of thoughts will get you hurt.
Yeah, you can't play with that feeling.
I had that sort of thought before I ever started. Just save myself all the time. I'm just like, that looks terrible. No, thank you.
Sean, if you weren't a boxer, rate your athletic skills. Like if you had to pick another sport that you think that, hey, I want to try this professionally, what other sport would you have dove into if not for boxing?
All the way up until I was, I believe, a junior in high school, I was convinced I was going to be in the NFL. I was convinced that I had everything that it took. I think if I had continued to really hone in on those skills and transfer the same focus and energy I put on boxing once high school was done, if I had continued with football and put that kind of focus towards it, I do believe that NFL would have been close. If not the NFL, definitely the Canadian League or something like that.
What position did you play?
2006 is when I graduated high school. So the AFL was still around. I was looking at the AFL like that was a possibility. I I do believe that I picked up a basketball a little too late. I didn't start playing basketball until almost high school, and I can hold my own on the court. I was able to be on the freshman team and also make the JV for basketball in high school as well. So all around athlete. I like to say this. I am the Debo Samuel of boxing. You know what I mean? You can put me outside, run down I can run down the field. You can take me across the middle. I could do that. I could come out of the backfield. That's who I was in the boxing ring. You know, I could box from the outside, on the inside, defense, the whole nine. You know, so just an all-around athlete.
Showtime Shawn Porter with us. Shawn, you know,
and look at that. He said, I am the Debo Samuel.
Debo Samuel.
Yeah, we got to put it up there.
I like that. There it is. I'm a Debo. You know, I'll never forget the first time I ever went to a professional boxing match in person.
Oh.
It was like 20-something years ago, and it was two, like, kind of over-the-hill heavyweights. I can't even remember the names, but they were guys who were, like, decent heavyweights in their prime, but at this point they were
in Cleveland.
What was that?
In Cleveland at the gun?
No, it was actually I think the Turning Stone Casino in Utica, New York, if I remember correctly. And yeah,
it's a big ticket.
Big ticket. Yeah. There was like 200 people there. But seeing these guys, because they were both really big, just the way seeing it in person is so different than on TV, because it looked like every punch the guy was getting hit by a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
So I'll say to you, Shawn, like obviously you're not a heavyweight, but still, you guys are punching with a lot of power and you got a lot more speed than these heavyweights have.
Yeah.
How do you get used to that? Like that because no matter how good you are, you're taking a lot of punches. How do you get used to it?
I'm pretty convinced that it's a couple of things. Number one is the adrenaline, and I believe number two is the focus. The guys at the top, when we are so focused on our game plan and we're so focused on beating the guy across from us, when we get hit, we know what we got hit with, but it doesn't affect us the same way I'm sure it affects you guys on the outside of the ring. You guys are like, man, that looked like it hurt. Yeah. I'm like, man, I got hit with the right hand. I got to make him miss that. You know, and it's like your focus and the adrenaline and the energy of the moment, it far exceeds whatever you could possibly feel in that moment, because you're so focused on winning a boxing match. And I think that that's what really separates boxing from any other sport out there. It's like you cannot afford to acknowledge the feeling of or how something felt in a moment. You get stuck in that moment and you can lose because of it.
Yeah, it is amazing when you sit ringside, even with guys, the welterweights, the smaller guys, when you hear it, it sounds like somebody's getting hit in the ribs with a baseball bat.
It's crazy.
Just it's so incredibly powerful. All right, so Shawn, we know that you're a huge Cleveland guy. You love Cleveland. You've taken a piece of us wherever. I know you don't live here now, but you follow the sports teams very closely. Which team are you the biggest fan of, and why?
I have in my closet, I have basically a whole section of Cleveland Browns shirts and a couple of jerseys upstairs. I'm football through and through, and I've always been in tune with what the Browns were doing and when they were doing it. Always not always understanding why they were doing it, but the Browns are my Cleveland team.
Shawn, you know, G and I are both we're excited that they got Deshaun Watson. Jay, on the other hand, I don't know where Mike stands yet, but Jay, on the other hand, is a Baker apologist. He's a Baker bro.
No, don't go that far.
Where
they kicked him out of town too soon, I think.
Get him out. Let's go, Shawn. What do you say?
Where are you?
Stance?
I hate to hear that, like, the Browns fans, it's like we are together no matter what. And for the first time in my life, I'm only 34, but for the first time in my life, this is the first time I'm experiencing the Browns not be all in. And collectively, you have like 50% are excited about this season. And then there's another 25% that are like, I don't want him here. And then there's another 25% that are like, I'm not watching football, the Browns anymore because of this move. I find it very surprising. I'm hoping that it's only a matter of time before those who have given up on the Browns as an organization and those who have given up on continuing to support the Browns because of this move getting Deshaun Watson. I hope that kind of dissipates because I believe that he's a good contributor to the Browns team. I believe that he's an athlete, and I believe that everything that he was able to do in Houston, he's going to bring all of that here to Cleveland. And I say here like I'm in Cleveland. But beyond him, also getting the receiver we just got,
Amari Cooper.
What's his name?
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, yeah.
Amari, yeah, getting Amari. I mean, I just think that we got weapons now. Of course, our backfield is going to be healthy again. I'm excited to see what the Browns are going to do this year.
You would have made that move
right now. Yeah, go ahead.
You would have made that move then. If you're the Browns front office, you would have moved Baker out. You thought that his usefulness here was over.
I believe that Baker has run his course with the Browns organization. I don't know that Deshaun Watson would have been my go-to, but I'm happy that he's here.
That's the way I am too. I wouldn't have made the move, but I'm glad that and now that he's ours, man. Let's go.
You did say that there was what you liked about what you're hoping is that Deshaun Watson can bring everything that he did in Houston here, and I hope there are some things that he doesn't bring here that he did in Houston, right? I mean, from a football standpoint, allegedly did.
Yeah.
Like, let's leave some stuff in Houston.
That's what everybody's saying. That's what everybody's saying. We cross our fingers for that one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. What do you make of the fact that I know that you said 25% of the fan base are saying that they're never going to watch again.
No chance.
I always chuckle at that when they go, I'm done with the Browns. No, you're not.
People.
You were a Browns fan when they were 0-16, and now you're done?
There's 10 people who are never going to watch again. 10. That's it. That's the whole list.
How I felt. I was like, these are serious accusations. Of course, we may joke about them. We may do whatever we do about these accusations, but they are real. And with the fact that they're real, it's like we have to support Deshaun, and we have to support the Browns 100%. And I think as Deshaun makes his entrance into Cleveland, we just have to kind of, slowly work him into our hearts and our minds because of these accusations, and allow what he does on the field be what we hold him at, not allow what these accusations that have taken place off the field. Let's not hold him to that. Let's hold him to what he does on the field, because essentially that's what he's in Cleveland for.
Yeah, Shawn, excuse me, guys. Shawn, when you come home, what's the place you have to go to, whether it's a restaurant or I don't know, whatever? When you're home, I got to do this. What is it?
I tell you what, I'm gonna just shout them out. The Hilton Cleveland downtown. I stayed there for the first time just a couple of weeks ago. I didn't know I was going to get this room. My room is directly across from the Cleveland Browns Stadium. And I'm like, I'm not staying anywhere else. Doesn't matter if I got business in Canton, Youngstown, Akron, Cuyahoga Falls, Stowe, the list goes on. I'm staying right here downtown at the Cleveland Hilton downtown.
It is a great
because it's fabulous to have that scene right there. But outside of that, I used to always go to Hot Sauce Williams restaurant, and they changed the sauce on me. And I haven't
hate when they do that.
They changed the sauce. So, but I do still go to Hot Sauce Williams whenever I get home.
Nice.
One more question. I'm gonna ask all pro athletes. When you finally made it, when you got your first check and you saw the check, like, yo, I'm in the building now. What is the first thing you blew the bag on? What's the first thing you was like, look back on and say, oh my God, what was I thinking?
Believe it or not, I've never blown the bag.
Whoa. Yes, that's what we want to hear.
Thank you. Cleveland thriftiness.
I got the first check that had multiple zeros on it. I was just like this. I was just like, man, I don't even want to put this in the bank. I just want to look at it. It took a minute for me to get it into the bank, but I'm sure you all see the suits that I wear now. That's when I do have a chance to spend. I'm usually spending it on some custom Showtime Shawn Porter suits.
That's a great answer.
Yeah,
man.
it's great.
I love hearing that story.
Cleveland sensibility right there.
Yes, Cleveland smart. I've heard too many stories about guys being completely broke a year or 2 years after they left their profession.
Not Shawn.
I'm really glad that that's not you. I believe it. I believe it. Yeah. All right, Shawn, listen, we can't thank you enough. I know you love Cleveland, and Cleveland loves you. Thanks so much for coming on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We're going to call on
with
you.
Us sometime.
Yeah, we're going to call on you when you're in Cleveland. Let us know. We want you to come in and join us on set. And also, anytime there's big boxing, I know you follow UFC too, right?
Not too much right now, but I got to get into it. Everybody wants me to, so I got to get into it.
Jump on it, because you do a terrific job analyzing fights. But really, the way the game is going is UFC, and I can see you being just as good as a commentator on the UFC fights as well. Shawn, thanks so much for coming in. We definitely appreciate it, taking time for us. We appreciate it.
You.
Go Browns, go Cavs, go Guardians, and love the T-shirt, by the way. Nice choice.
Catch you guys on the next one, all right?
All right, very good. I love to hear that.
Thank you.
I love it. Smart with his money. He'll enjoy life.
We got to get him on the show, and when he's in town, we have to all stay at his place at the Hilton, too, and just wreck that shit.
Yeah, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show party in his suite at the Hilton.
No doubt.
All right, we're taking our final break. When we come back, we're doing final takes. What are we hot on today? Stick around. We wrap up the show right after this.
I do love.
News you can trust should be news you can rely on.
And every night at 11 on What's Next, you can rely on us.
A new legal twist for Browns.
Today also marks the beginning of
We're here, and we are going to continue.
So the Guardians have to play almost.
You can rely on us to help you go to bed better informed with stories that prepare you for tomorrow.
And with news that's relevant to your life. We'll make sure that you're ready for what's next.
Because being ready for tomorrow is what matters most.
We face challenges every day, some bigger than others, and we never know what's around the corner.
Through the highs and the lows, whatever we face it together. Each morning on Go, we are here with the facts, because what impacts you impacts all of us.
And understanding those facts helps us to make informed decisions for our families, our communities, and our future.
We are here for you every step of the way. Go, weekday mornings, 4:30 to 7 a.m.
Recognize that feeling? It is the feeling of being together, enjoying the company of a familiar face, and sharing moments that matter to you, to me, to us. What matters to some could impact all of us, especially in a place like Northeast Ohio. Here, stories are shared from east to west to south. Stories of perseverance, of family, of love. If a story brings us together, it's what matters most.
When you watch Front Row, you never have to ask what's going on in Cleveland.
It is our job to get you up to speed on the latest news and events so you can enjoy all our city has to offer. We are bright, bold, and all about the action.
Whether you're a diehard Browns fan, waiting on breaking news, or searching for a special event for a weekend away.
Our hometown has it all. So join us. We're waiting for you. Front Row, weeknights at 7.
With the final take, and that's very simple. We all have things that we're stewing about or that we really want to get off our chest. Uninterrupted, no debating this. This is your time to just throw your final take opinion out on the table, and both start us off today.
Yeah, guys, I want to talk to you and not really the camera here, because there's a problem, seriously, where we're always about the black and white and we're never about the gray area. The gray area gets ignored, and that's where most people are. Whether it comes to sports, politics, whatever. Most of us live in the gray area, and yet it's the loudest voices in the black and white area that make noise and ruin it for everybody else. But let's talk about it from a sports perspective here. The perfect example of this is the Baker Mayfield argument. Now, I've been critical and harsh, and sometimes I'm like, get rid of him, get rid of him. And I do think it's time for the Browns to move on. But I think the whole argument of Baker Mayfield sums up that everybody ignores the gray area. The reality about Baker Mayfield is he's not a great quarterback, and he's not a scrub. He's in the gray area. He's a decent starting NFL quarterback. And because Browns fans have not had a quarterback even in the gray area for 30 years, a lot of fans think he's beyond the gray area. He's better than that. He's really good. And some of us, like G and I, maybe we go too far. Like, he stinks, he stinks, he stinks. He doesn't stink. But He's not as good as you think he is. He's just better than all the awful quarterbacks you've had here for the last 30 years. Baker did some good things in his time with Cleveland, but that time has come. You can't keep him here. The Browns have to move on, even if Deshaun Watson gets suspended for the year. That's why they brought in Jacoby Brissett. And Jacoby Brissett's not that good a quarterback, I'll be honest. He's not even as good as Baker Mayfield. But this team has emotionally and mentally moved on. But keep in mind, when we do these arguments, again, on any topic, we've got to look at, there's a middle ground here. And it doesn't have to be he's great or he's horrible. In this case, he's okay, but that's not good enough.
I totally agree. And we have, I don't know if I'm allowed to comment on your final thought.
Sure you are. No, we
Great.
all do.
I think you're right. There's 10 freaks online complaining about getting rid of Baker. There's 10 people online saying he's the worst person on earth, but they're the loudest people. And then there's so many people in between who are just like, is it almost the season yet?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that we are so engaged in this, I think we get an unrealistic perception of how many people care. And that goes like that with everything. You're right, squeaky wheel gets the grease, and a lot of people are squeaking online right now.
The fringe, that's why I think radical anything is bad. I don't care if it's left or right politically, or if you drive your nail in the ground saying he's terrible or he's the second coming of Bernie. Like, those are both, that's hyperbole in both cases.
People hate things you can't label. Like, put a clean label.
They want to be able to say the worst, the best.
Right.
I think
sometimes it's okay to be okay.
Points, are you okay with this? Because I think this is true on just about everything. Somewhere in the middle lies the truth.
Yeah.
In most cases, yeah. In all cases,
true.
I think. Yeah.
G. Bush, what do you got?
Well, you know, sometimes in the media, what we do, we talk in hyperbole and we talk about scenarios and theories and, you know, things about why stuff happens and what goes into decisions on the field. Sometimes we talk about it in terms of Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, or whether the case is LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, or Michael Jordan. But the reality of it is this. The media has no point. The media has no bearing on what you do on the field. That's the great thing about sports, right? Sports is about what happens between the white lines. It doesn't matter what religion you are, because guess what? You can't even pray to your God for a win. It doesn't matter what color you are, because guess what? You still can take an L. All of that stuff in the tertiary economics, whether you're married, all of that is out the window, because it only matters what you do with your teammates, how you go about winning a game, and how you go about investing and trying to get better every single day. Everything we talk about is media narrative and this and that, and the media the media writes stories. They are guests in the world of sports. What really matters is you, your teammates, in the locker room and on the field. And at the end of the day, you got to live with the results. And that has nothing to do with what someone wrote.
Very good.
Strong.
Yeah.
Tune out the noise. When Baker Mayfield, I did get to a tipping point with Baker where I actually said, I'm not sure he's the guy, because after 2 seasons ago, I thought he was. What put me more into the camp of we've got to make a move. Now, I just think the way they did it was terrible, and now we're in quarterback purgatory again. We don't know where we are. But I was more leaning towards getting rid of him because I figured he has 2 traits that a quarterback can't have. Rabbit ears and thin skin.
Yeah,
you got to tune out. Well, who cares what we're saying?
Right.
Who cares what newspaper reporters are
matter.
writing? You're accountable to the 52 other guys in the locker room. Go do your thing, ball out, and we'll write and say good things about you. But don't start chirping back, because the power of the pen is undefeated. They get the last word every time.
He wouldn't talk to the media after a win. He didn't play that well.
That was a bad look.
That's not a good look.
That was really bad.
Mike, what do you got?
I kind of addressed this earlier a little bit, but I think it deserves to have a little more depth into it. This is for mom and dad, all moms and dads, really, and that is, we hear you. We know you're having tech issues. We get the text messages. We totally understand. We get them all day. We get them at work. Something's wrong, and I'm sorry that your Echo Dot can't connect to your Bluetooth speaker. I can help you fix it, but it's going to take a minute. I can't do it right now. I'm sorry that your DVR is full and you don't know how to take it all out of there at once, and you don't want to do it individually. But I'm not coming over right now. I'm sorry that you somehow hit a setting on your Ring doorbell where everyone outside on the street can hear everything that you're saying in your living room. That really happened. That really happened, by the way.
I want tape.
So I am sorry that that's all happening, but here's what you got to realize is that we love you and we will help you with those things, but just make a list. make like one list until you get 10 things in order rather than doing this individually. We understand. And then we'll come over there. I will make your microwave stop blinking midnight. I'll do that for you. We'll have a nice bottle of wine. It'll be like a nice visit. But it's the important thing is not to do these individually. Make a long list of these things, and then I'll come over there. I'll fix your printer. I'll do everything you want to do. And I'm speaking on behalf of most people whose parents are bugging them with this stuff all the time. Just ask us, but make that list. That's all I ask.
That's a fair ask.
That's
great.
Let's call it Tech Tuesday, where every Tuesday you go to Mom and Pop's and you say, what have you got for me today?
Yeah. Yep.
My favorite is when you're doing something over FaceTime and they have to toggle back and forth from the FaceTime to their phone to get to settings.
Right.
It's
a nightmare.
I only wish that I've recorded some of them with my mom, who is 82, and by the way, she's streaming right now. So she's gotten pretty good at it, but man, these conversations are hilarious.
I get at least one FaceTime, like live FaceTime thing from my mom's purse, like once a week.
Oh yeah, no
and
doubt.
I hear her and her
purse
friends.
dial.
Her and her friends are at work just talking to each other, and I'm just like, I might stick around to see if she talks some smack on me.
Live
a little
stream
bit.
that.
That would be disturbing.
Yeah,
if
it
she said
is.
something really messed up.
Yeah, bless their hearts. We've had a lot to adjust to. Think about that. I mean,
a lot's happened in their later years.
Oh, yeah.
And it's easier for us to handle it because we're younger.
Not
We
a
can
lot
handle
for me,
change.
frankly.
No,
Not a hell of a lot.
We're on the fringe, but like I look at my kids and I'm pretty sure they can write code.
Yeah.
I don't know where they learned
They're
it.
in the meta, in their brains right now.
My son is not even 9 years old, knows way more about technology than I do.
Yeah.
Not even close.
But you're not ashamed of that. You're not mad.
No,
You're like, yeah, fix
I'm impressed
everything.
with him.
Fix everything.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm sure you're already saying, son, I can't get on this stream site. Can you help me?
He had to help me figure out screen mirroring on my TV from the computer.
They know how to do it
That's what they're there for.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, here's my final take, and it has to do with the man who sits in the most important chair for the Cleveland Guardians, and that's Terry Francona. I know that we love Tito. I just don't think that we are appreciating what we have in the moment. One day the Patriots are going to wake up and they're going to go, wow, Bill's not our coach anymore. And then they're going to have to find out how tough it is to be on the other side. The difference that a manager can make in baseball, and I'm different than most analytics guys. Most analytics guys believe that a manager can make 4 to 6 games difference in a year. They think they're that irrelevant. That's why I think Terry Francona is the best, most impactful manager in baseball. Look at what he's been able to do with what management has given him. This team's always at least 500. This team's always in the playoff discussion. Even last year when they finished below 500, which for Terry is like as odd as a full solar eclipse. It doesn't happen very often. You can give him a group of players, and the group of players that he inherited this year, most experts agreed they're going to be bottom feeders in the division. They might finish last. I heard some people pick them last. And here they are, and I know it's a small sample size, but we're a month into the season. They just took 2 of 3 from a very good Toronto team, and last night's win in Chicago is going to set the tone for the rest of this year. That team, if it wasn't already together, is together now. They came back, guys, from an 8-2 deficit in the 9th inning. That doesn't happen in baseball. At one point, they had a 99.7% chance of losing. They won the game. Grand slam. Naylor. 3-run homer. Naylor. We talked about it to start the show. They're getting contributions from guys named Miller and Kwan and Rosario that we weren't really counting on. And that's all because of Terry Francona. He gets the most out of everybody in his dugout. I think back to the 2007 season when the Indians were playing the Red Sox in the ALCS. My dad was dying of cancer. Indians were up 3-1. I got on an airplane and flew to Arizona to watch the last 3 games with my dad. And I told my dad, we're going to get to watch the Indians in another World Series. And he knew that this would be his last baseball season. And before we ever watched Game 5, he said, you know what scares me the most? And I said, what? And he said, they've got Tito in their dugout. My dad was a huge fan of Tito Francona, who played for his career early in the Indians. He said, he's the difference maker in a baseball series like this. We watched the Red Sox win 3 in a row and go on to sweep the World Series and win the World Series. He's that kind of a guy, guys. Forget the rosters, because at that point, it's a wash. Give me a great manager in a 7-game series every time. What he's been able to do in his career is nothing short of amazing. He ended the curse in Boston, and I know it's his dream to end it here. He'll
Mine
never
too,
be
yeah.
able to buy a drink again in the city of Boston or Cleveland if he
Hall
can
of
do that.
Fame manager, without a doubt.
One of the best we've
Yeah.
seen, and I think the best in the game right now.
I almost brought him up earlier when we were talking about him and how amazing it is. The thing that's frustrating, though, is hearing, and you're absolutely right. These are the excuses we hear at the beginning of the season when they don't spend any money. They're like, but they're still going to be competitive. They got Tito. He can make anything competitive. You know, they do a lot with a little. And it's like, yeah, but imagine if they had a lot and Tito.
Which they
like
should.
That's what he did when he was in Boston.
Yeah,
they had a
sure.
lot and
Yeah.
Tito. And, man, I mean, he does. You're right. He deserves all the credit in the world. But, boy, if he gave him something else to work with.
Yeah.
Especially his last couple of years with the payroll so low. It's just been ridiculous.
It'd be fun to watch.
Let's go.
Just
Get
give
that
him a
new owner in
middle-of-the-road
there, spend
payroll.
some money.
And his
Don't give him
attitudes-
a Dollar
Yeah.
General payroll. Give him a real payroll.
Give me
And his
125. I
attitudes,
think.
Tito's attitude is still great. He's like, well, we've got some exciting players out there, and you got this. What is the second lowest payroll in the league, third, something like that.
And the team feeds off his positivity.
Yes,
no doubt.
And he gets young guys to play hard, and the veterans love him. The young guys love him. I think
He
it'd be a
doesn't
dream
take
to
himself
play for a
too
guy like
seriously.
that.
He's very self-deprecating.
You're right.
Yeah, I think that's important.
He does laugh at himself, and he can make the guys in the clubhouse laugh. And Tito, we love you, and it's going to be a harsh reality when we look inside that dugout one day and he's no longer there.
Don't say that.
I know.
Big show tomorrow,
I'd like
Jay.
to think.
Oh,
he's,
yeah,
you know,
big show.
Huge show
Huge.
tomorrow.
You want to tease anything on tomorrow's show?
Joe Thomas.
There you go.
I'm mad at him, though. I said it the other day. He's getting too skinny. Like, he's not Mike Polk skinny, but he's getting too thin. It's inappropriate. He's got a great life. It's not fair that he's also thin.
He really does, and he's going to be alive for like 50 more years. He's
Ridiculous.
in great shape.
What
It's
the hell
ridiculous.
is
Also,
that?
you know who else is on tomorrow's show is The Miz.
Oh, The Miz.
Oh, my God.
Like, so we always got to bring in there's got to
That's
be a
right.
Cleveland connection for our
Yeah.
guests.
Does anybody love Cleveland more than The Miz?
I don't think so. No, he wears it. He's all about Cleveland.
Makes it very clear.
Stop playing. I got the championship belt, Miz.
Yeah.
You tell me does anybody do it better than the Miz? This guy.
What's the origin of this? I'm
He
sorry.
bought it
just
on
made it up.
Amazon.
Okay.
But he
What?
wants to make us believe that he's the people's
This
champ,
was
and it was given to him.
This was
Okay, I
given
see.
to me in a ceremony.
Okay, by
By the people.
By the pandas.
By the people.
I got
the
it.
people.
Sorry, I just missed that.
Multiple. It was a
Kung Fu
live
Panda
panda. It was
4.
a live panda there too. By the way,
So we're just not addressing it, and I won't bring it up again.
We're just
but
all
that is
ignoring
amazing.
the elephant in the room. He's the people's champ.
Yeah.
You got to recognize
Rub
it.
my shoulders.
Mike, great job. Great
Thanks.
first effort. Mike's going to be in every Tuesday and Thursday
Had
with
fun.
us, and we enjoy having your
Good.
sense of humor
Glad.
and your different takes on things. Back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, but there's all kinds of ways you can digest us on podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We're pretty active on social media. We'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Until then, make it a great day. Enjoy this wonderful weather if you can. See you guys.
3-0.
Are we in the cloud? Is this show in the